The world, as you know it, has dissolved. The digital hum, the frantic pace of your day, the flickering glow of screens, all of it has been extinguished, replaced by a profound, heavy silence. You are standing before a massive, iron-bound oak door, its wood scarred by centuries of use and darkened by time. This is the entrance to an inner sanctum in a stone monastery in the heart of Provence, in the year 1245. As the heavy door swings open with a low resonant groan, you are greeted not by the chill of the night, but by a warm, intoxicating embrace. The air here is thick, saturated with a scent so pure and so deeply relaxing that your lungs instinctively expand, drinking in the essence of fresh crushed lavender and the ancient earthy aroma of cool damp stone. You have stepped out of time and into a sanctuary of absolute unwavering peace. Look around this chamber. The walls are constructed of thick hand-hewn limestone, absorbing every sound from the outside world and reflecting back only the most essential rhythmic pulses of existence. It is a laboratory of quietude. In the center of the room, illuminated by the soft flickering amber glow of a solitary flame, the herbalist monk stands in silent, graceful communion with his craft. He does not speak, for words have no place here. He is a master of the slow, deliberate art of alchemy, his movements as fluid and predictable as the turning of the seasons. Before him, arranged with mathematical precision, are the alembics, intricate, delicate structures of hand-blown glass that seem to defy their own fragility. They catch the light, holding it captive in their curved, translucent bellies, where the process of transformation is unfolding. Listen closely. If you let go of your thoughts, if you stop searching for the next thing to do, you will hear it. It is the most beautiful sound in the world. Deep within the heating vessel, a gentle bubbling begins, a rhythmic subterranean thrumming that anchors this entire room in a state of suspended animation. It is the heartbeat of the monastery, a sound that promises nothing but rest. And then there is the pulse, a tiny crystal clear drop of condensed floral water falling from the cooling coil into the glass receiver. Drip. A moment of pause. Drip. Another moment of perfect balanced peace. This is the heartbeat of your transition into sleep. Each drop represents a shedding of the day's burdens, a distilled release of the tension you have carried for so long. You are invited to take your place on the worn, smooth wooden stool tucked into the corner of the room. The stone beneath your feet feels solid and immovable, providing a foundation for your tired mind. As you sit, the scent of the lavender intensifies, a soft, velvet textured blanket that drapes over your shoulders. It is warm, sweet, and profoundly, deeply grounding. With every inhale, the boundaries of your physical form begin to soften. With every exhale, the thoughts that once raced through your mind start to slow down, mimicking the deliberate, measured pace of the distillation process. The monk moves to adjust the flame, his shadow dancing across the masonry like a silent, protective ghost. He is a guardian of your peace. He knows the secret that you are beginning to understand, that there is no power in rushing, no value in force. Nature demands patience, and now, so do you. The lavender is yielding its spirit to the fire, turning its physical form into a subtle, healing mist that gathers in the glass. You too are yielding. You are yielding the weight of your history, the anxiety of your future, and the noise of the present moment. Everything is being distilled down to this singular point of existence. The warmth of the fire, the scent of the flower, and the steady, rhythmic descent into silence. The room grows dimmer as the last of the evening light fades from the narrow slit-like windows, leaving the apothecary entirely defined by the glow of the furnace. The walls seem to move closer, wrapping you in a cocoon of safety. There is no danger here. There is only the history of the stone, the wisdom of the monk, and the infinite recurring cycle of the water condensing and falling. It is a lullaby written in chemistry and time. You are safe within these walls. You are completely removed from the chaos of the world outside. The door is locked, the flame is steady, and you have nowhere left to go. Your only task now is to observe the light, to breathe the scent of the lavender, and to allow the rhythmic hypnotic sounds of the apothecary to carry you deeper into the darkness. Your eyes are growing heavy, pulled toward the earth by a pleasant, irresistible gravity. The distillation is accelerating. The scent is becoming deeper and more intoxicating, and the time for waking is coming to an end. You are ready to drift, to let the rhythmic drip of the essence become the internal metronome for your descent into a deep, untroubled slumber. The intensity of the lavender fragrance is growing, shifting from a sharp, bright top note to a deeper, more resinous and earthy undertone as the monk stirs the dried blossoms within the copper heating vessel. The air is thick with this, a tangible weight that presses gently against your skin. It feels as though the very atmosphere of this chamber is being thickened by the essence of the purple fields of Provence, distilled into a singular aromatic nectar. You watch the monk's hands, weathered and steady, as they navigate the warmth radiating from the small, controlled hearth. He works with a reverence that suggests he is not merely producing a medicinal tonic, but performing a sacred rite of translation, turning the physical labor of the fields into the ethereal spirit of the plant. The heat is subtle, a soft glow that illuminates the dust motes dancing in the air like tiny suspended stars. Each movement he makes is calculated, stripped of all unnecessary motion. He reaches for a long iron rod to nudge a piece of oak wood further into the embers, the sound of the friction between iron and stone echoing briefly before vanishing into the heavy silence of the room. The flame flares for a moment, painting the limestone walls in hues of burnt orange and deep violet, before settling back into a calm, rhythmic flicker. You find your gaze locked on the dance of this light. It is mesmerizing, a constant flickering promise of warmth. As you watch, the world outside this room feels less and less real. The year 1245, with its wars and winters, its prayers and harvests, is a lifetime away. Here, time has no currency. It is measured only by the accumulation of liquid in the receiving flask. The glass alembics are marvels of the medieval era. They rise from the base like frozen sculptures, their swan-neck tubes curving with an elegance that belies the intensity of the work happening inside. You can see the steam, a ghostly swirling phantom of white, rising from the boiling water, carrying the soul of the lavender upward. It travels through the slender neck, seeking the cooler air of the condensing chamber. There the alchemy happens. The heat is stripped away, and the spirit returns to a liquid form, gathering against the glass in tiny glistening beads before gravity claims them. The rhythmic drip, so steady that it could be the heartbeat of the earth itself, continues to punctuate the silence. It is a slow, patient process. There is no urgency here, only the inevitable, beautiful conclusion of a cycle that has been perfected over countless seasons. Your body is sinking further into the stool, your muscles loosening their grip, letting go of the habits of tension. It is a slow process of surrender. You notice how the coolness of the stone floor anchors your feet, while the warmth of the fire cradles your upper body. It is a perfect thermal balance. The scent, now so deeply embedded in the air, seems to be seeping into your very bones, relaxing the tightness in your chest, smoothing the furrow of your brow. You are becoming part of the apothecary, a silent witness to a process that requires nothing from you. You do not need to understand the science of distillation, nor do you need to know the destination of the precious liquid. Your only purpose is to be here, to exist in this quiet, to breathe, and to drift. The monk moves to the periphery of the light, his form blurring at the edges. He is a shadow of a man, a guardian of the quiet. He brings out a small glass phial, holding it up to the firelight to inspect the clarity of the oil that has already collected. The movement is slow, almost hypnotic. You follow the path of the phial, your eyes heavy, feeling the familiar pull of sleep beginning to weave its web around your consciousness. It is a soft, gentle transition, like sinking into deep, clear water. The world is becoming hazy, the details of the room losing their sharpness as the shadows grow longer, more comforting. The sound of the bubbling water is no longer a sound you hear. It is a sensation, a vibration that ripples through the very foundation of your being. It tells you that all is well. The labor is ongoing. The peace is constant, and you are finally truly allowed to rest. The monastery is silent, and in this silence, you become aware of the subtle shifts in the temperature of the room. It is a slow, rhythmic ebb and flow, dictated by the small fire beneath the alembic. You watch as the monk moves with an economy of motion that is almost meditative. He is not a man of many words, and in this chamber, words would only serve to disrupt the delicate equilibrium he has established. The environment is one of complete isolation, a deliberate turning away from the cacophony of the 14th century world. Here, the only thing that matters is the purity of the distillation, the slow, laborious process of turning a field of lavender into a singular precious essence. You find yourself mimicking his rhythm, your breathing slowing to match the steady, hypnotic drip of the condensate into the glass vessel. It is a gentle, rhythmic heartbeat, a sound that resonates through the thick stone walls and into the very core of your being. The glass alembics, bathed in the amber glow of the hearth, seem to pulse with a life of their own. They are fragile, yet they hold the power of transformation, a testament to the ingenuity of the monks who have tended this apothecary for generations. The curvature of the glass catches the light, reflecting it in soft, shifting patterns across the walls, creating a dance of shadows that is both familiar and profoundly soothing. You feel the weight of the day falling away, shed like a garment you no longer need. The persistent, nagging thoughts that usually clutter your mind have been quieted, replaced by the simple, repetitive focus on the process at hand. You are being held by this space, cradled by the history of the monastery and the steady, unwavering dedication of the monk. It is a feeling of safety, of being completely, utterly at rest. As the hours pass in this timeless space, the scent of lavender becomes even more pronounced, filling every corner of the room, saturating the fabric of your clothes. The very air you breathe. It is a scent of peace, of clarity, of a deep ancient wisdom that predates all your worries and concerns. It is the scent of the earth, of the sun, of the cycles of growth and rest that govern all life. You allow yourself to be enveloped by it, letting it soothe your senses and relax your spirit. The monk, in his quiet, methodical way, adjusts the cooling water, his hands moving with the grace of a master. He is the shepherd of this process, the guardian of the quiet, ensuring that the distillation continues without interruption. You are a passenger in this journey, a witness to the profound beauty of stillness. The darkness beyond the thick walls is absolute, but inside the apothecary there is a warmth that is both physical and emotional. It is a hearth fire, a light against the unknown, a symbol of the comfort that can be found in simplicity. You look at the monk, and he seems to be a part of the stone itself, a figure etched into the foundation of the monastery. He is not bothered by the passage of time, for he knows that in this room time is merely a measure of the distillation, a means to an end. You are beginning to understand this too. The urgency that once drove your life is fading, replaced by a deep, resonant calm. The sounds of the monastery, the distant, muffled tolling of a bell, the creaking of timber in the wind, are far away, irrelevant to your current state of being. Everything is balanced, the heat is steady, the water is cool, the glass is intact, and the essence is flowing, one drop at a time into the receiver. It is a rhythm that you can rely on, a cadence that guides you toward the deepest, most restorative sleep. There is no need for anything else. The world can wait. The responsibilities, the expectations, the noise, they are all outside, locked away behind the massive oak door. Here, there is only the present moment, the scent of the lavender, the glow of the fire, and the steady heartbeat like drip of the distillation. You are safe, you are at peace, and you are ready to let go, completely and entirely, into the soft velvet embrace of the night, guided by the ancient rhythms of the monastery and the quiet, steady hand of the monk. The darkness is not frightening, it is a curtain drawn across the world, a space created specifically for your rest. You drift on the scent, you settle into the stone, and you yield to the peace of the apothecary. The air in the apothecary has shifted again, cooling slightly as the night deepens. Yet the warmth of the fire remains an island of comfort in the center of the room. You watch the monk move with an almost imperceptible slow motion quality. He is checking the seals where the glass neck meets the main chamber, his fingers trailing over the cool hardened beeswax used to ensure the vessel remains airtight. There is a profound sense of craftsmanship in every movement. You realize that you have been watching him for what feels like hours, yet the passage of time has lost all its sting. It no longer feels like a race, but like a long, drawn-out breath that you are finally allowed to release. The scent of the lavender is now a part of you. It has woven itself into your hair, your skin, and the very fabric of your being, acting as a constant aromatic anchor that pulls you further into a state of deep meditative relaxation. The rhythmic liquid pulse of the alembic has become the primary frequency of your consciousness. Drip, a soft wet sound as the essence hits the glass bottom of the receiver. Pause, the air sighs with the cooling steam. Drip. It is a cadence so simple that it leaves no room for the complexity of human thought. You are no longer analyzing, you are merely existing. The stress of your life outside these walls feels like a distant flickering memory that you can no longer quite grasp. Why did it matter so much? The question itself seems ridiculous in the face of this absolute stony silence. Here, the only truth is the transformation of the plant into its purest spirit. The monk stands still for a moment, listening, his head slightly tilted, as if he is confirming the quality of the distillate by its sound alone. He turns to you then, a faint knowing smile touching his lips, a gesture of silent solidarity, before he returns to his patient watch. You find your eyelids growing heavier with each passing moment, the weight of them a welcome, physical sensation. The stone walls around you feel solid, protective, and eternal. They have stood here since long before you arrived, and they will stand long after you are gone, acting as a silent witness to the history of this place. You are a small temporary part of this long continuum, and for the first time in a long time that thought brings you immense relief. You do not need to carry the world on your shoulders. You do not need to solve the mysteries of the universe. You only need to be here, in the dim, lavender-scented dark, listening to the heartbeat of the alembic. The fire in the hearth is dimming now, turning from a bright orange to a deep, smoldering red, casting long lazy shadows that stretch across the vaulted ceiling. It is the color of the final moments of the day, a visual lullaby that prepares you for the transition into sleep. The monk gathers his tools, a few glass rods, a piece of linen cloth, and lays them neatly on the wooden table. He is preparing for the end of the vigil. There is a finality to his movements that signals it is time for you too to surrender. You shift your weight on the stool, feeling the cold hard reality of the stone floor beneath your feet, and you realize that you are ready. You are ready to close your eyes, to let the external world fall away entirely, and to step into the vast quiet space of your own mind. The lavender is strong, the fire is low, and the drip is steady. Everything is in its place. The apothecary has done its work. You are calm, you are grounded, and you are ready for rest. As you prepare to drift off, consider the journey you have taken to reach this sanctuary of stillness. You have traveled through centuries of noise to find this one perfect room. If this journey into the medieval past has brought you a moment of true peace, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. By joining our community of listeners, you help us continue to build these sanctuaries of sound and story, ensuring that no matter how loud the world gets, you always have a place to return to for deep, restorative rest. Like, comment, and share your experience with us. Let us know what part of the apothecary's quiet rhythm spoke to you the most. Your support allows us to keep the fire lit, the alembics flowing, and the stories of the past alive for your comfort and sleep. The final embers in the hearth emit a low, persistent crackle, a sound that weaves itself into the deepening stillness of the room. You watch the last of the glowing wood settle into a bed of fine gray ash, and with each passing second, the ambient light in the apothecary retreats further into the corners. The monk has retreated to the shadows near the back of the chamber, his presence now more of a steady grounding energy than a visual one. You are alone with the process, yet you have never felt more accompanied. The alembic, in its quiet industry, continues to sing its soft liquid song. It is the only thing that moves in the room, a testament to the idea that true lasting change is often quiet, slow, and almost entirely invisible until the work is finished. You find yourself focusing on a cooling coil, where the steam meets the cold glass and vanishes into a single perfect drop. This cycle is endless, a loop of nature and artifice that exists outside of human concern. You lean back, your shoulders finally relaxing away from your ears, your spine molding against the rough, cool surface of the stone wall. The air is now so heavily perfumed with lavender that it feels as though you are breathing in the essence itself. The volatile oils calming the nerves and slowing the pulse. It is a physical sensation of unspooling, like a tightly wound thread finally being released. There is a deep, resonant honesty to this place. Nothing here is hidden. Everything is laid bare. The fire, the water, the glass, and the humble plant. There is a strange, profound sense of justice in this simplicity. You realize that your own life, so often defined by complex demands and invisible pressures, could be just as simple if you allow it to be. The apothecary is not teaching you how to work, but how to be. The room is almost entirely dark now, save for the faint, shimmering reflection of the moon through the high, narrow slit of the window. The light is thin and silvery, cutting across the room and highlighting the dust motes that drift in the stagnant air. You watch them, these tiny specks of life caught in a beam of lunar light, and they seem to move in perfect, slow motion harmony with the dripping of the essence. Everything is connected. The stone, the monk, the lavender, the moon, and you. You are part of this ancient rhythmic dance, and for this moment you are perfectly aligned with the pace of the universe. The frustration you felt earlier in the day is gone, replaced by a dull, pleasant ache of exhaustion that is leading you straight to the threshold of dreams. Your thoughts are no longer sentences or worries. They are fragmented images, a purple field swaying in the wind, the smooth curve of a glass vessel, the warmth of a fire in a cold room. They are the building blocks of the dream state. You are drifting, your consciousness thinning, becoming as translucent and ethereal as the lavender vapor itself. The sounds of the monastery, the distant windswept moaning of the eaves, are comforting rather than haunting. They are the sounds of the world continuing on without you, allowing you the total freedom to stop your own internal clock. You do not need to keep track of anything anymore. The monk will continue his watch. The alembic will continue its drip. You are free to let go. The heavy silence is broken only by the sound of your own slow, rhythmic breathing. It is the most natural thing in the world. You are sinking deeper into the stool, feeling as if the stone floor is rising to meet you, cradling you in its solid embrace. The scent is the last thing you notice, a lingering, sweet, and infinitely peaceful note that promises a night of uninterrupted, deep rest. You are fully surrendered to the stillness. The world is far away. The night is long and kind, and the journey towards sleep is almost complete. You are being lulled, step by step, drop by drop, into the velvet void of total relaxation. There is no more distance to cover, no more labor to perform. You are home, you are resting, you are finally completely at peace within the walls of the monastery. The heavy atmosphere of the apothecary has shifted into a deep meditative slumber. The last of the warmth from the hearth has migrated into the very foundation of the stone room, creating a cocoon of radiating heat that penetrates the floor and the walls. You can feel this warmth seeping into your back, a gentle, persistent heat that works to dissolve any remaining tension in your body. It is a slow, thorough process. Each muscle, from the tension in your jaw to the tightness in your shoulders, is being unknotted by the sheer overwhelming stillness of this place. The lavender, now distilled to its most potent and refined state, seems to hang in the air like a physical presence, a soft purple mist that colors your very thoughts. You are no longer thinking, you are merely drifting on a current of scent and silence. The monk's presence has faded into the background, his figure now a mere silhouette against the flickering, dying light, his movements so deliberate that they have become part of the architecture of the room. You observe the process of distillation as if from a great distance. The alembic, with its elegant swan-like neck, is the only object in the room that holds any definition. It glows with a faint iridescent light, capturing the remnants of the moonlight that filter through the high, narrow window. Every few seconds, the rhythmic drip continues, a steady metronomic beat that dictates the pace of the world. It is the heartbeat of this sanctuary, a pulse that is perfectly attuned to the slowing rhythms of your own heart. With every drop, you feel yourself descending deeper into the soft velvet dark. It is not a fall, but a graceful, slow immersion, like sinking into a pool of warm, fragrant water. The world outside the monastery walls has ceased to exist entirely. There are no cloisters, no gardens, no fields of Provence. There is only this room, this fire, this glass, and this unfolding peace. Your eyes are closed now, but the images remain. You see the deep, vibrant violet of the lavender flowers, the pale, translucent green of the glass, the dark, solid gray of the stone. These colors are the palette of your dreams, a soothing landscape that you are about to enter. The sounds of the room are merging into a singular, cohesive lullaby. The crackle of the embers is the soft static white noise of the mind. The drip of the condensation is the steady, reassuring tick of a clock that no longer measures time, but only the depth of your rest. You are becoming untethered from the demands of the day, the memories of the tasks you finished, the conversations you held, the worries that gnawed at your edges. They are all washing away, carried off by the gentle, steady flow of the floral water into the receiving vessel. There is an immense quiet power in this isolation. You realize that you have spent your entire life surrounded by noise, and that this silence is not empty. It is full. It is full of history, of patience, of the slow, deliberate work of centuries. It is full of the wisdom of those who understood that sometimes the most important thing you can do is to stop. Stop the motion, stop the striving, stop the search for meaning. In the cessation of motion, you find the meaning you were looking for all along. You are a part of this ancient, quiet continuity. You are a small, breathing fragment of the monastery itself, sheltered and safe, held in the palm of a time that does not care for your schedule. As you hover on the precipice of deep sleep, the air seems to grow even heavier, more nurturing. You are sinking, drifting, letting go of the last remnants of conscious control. The scent of the lavender is the final tether to the waking world, and it is a soft, fragrant one. It is the smell of the sun-drenched fields of Provence, held in suspension for your comfort. You take one final deep breath, feeling the cool air of the room and the warm, sweet note of the flower, and you let it out in a long, shuddering sigh of pure relief. Sleep is waiting for you, a vast and welcoming ocean. Sleepy History with Arthur is a sleep history storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. The transition into the deepest reaches of the night is now complete. The apothecary has become a womb of shadows, where the only orientation is the soft rhythmic pulsing of the liquid as it gathers. You are no longer aware of the stone walls or the floor beneath you. You have become a part of the stillness, a silent observer in a world that has slowed to the pace of a falling drop. The scent of lavender has deepened, losing its sharp floral edge and settling into a dark, woody, and resinous comfort that feels as ancient as the mountain itself. It is a fragrance that speaks of earth, of roots, and of the long, quiet winter. You feel the weight of your own body as a pleasant, heavy presence, anchoring you firmly in this moment. There is no desire to move, no flicker of thought to pull you back to the surface. You are simply here, resting in the center of the monk's labor, shielded by the thickness of the stone and the sanctity of the ritual. The monk, a mere ghost of a presence, now shifts his position. The soft whisper of his rough woolen robes against the floor is the only sound that interrupts the rhythmic dripping. He is checking the cooling bath, his hands steady and cool, testing the temperature of the water with a precision that comes from a lifetime of practice. You feel a sense of profound gratitude for his vigilance. He is the keeper of your peace, the one who ensures that the fire remains controlled and the distillation pure. He does not need your recognition. He does not need your praise. His work is its own reward, and in his dedication, you find a reflection of your own need for order and calm. The room seems to hum with this shared understanding, a silent pact between the traveler and the guardian, focused entirely on the necessity of rest. The moon, which earlier was a sharp piercing sliver of light, has drifted behind the clouds, casting the interior of the apothecary into a uniform velvet darkness. This is the ultimate comfort. The visual distractions have vanished, leaving only the sound and the scent to guide you. You are enveloped in a blackness that is not empty, but rich and fertile. Like the earth after a gentle rain, it is a space where your mind can finally stop constructing narratives and start simply existing. The worries of the world are like sand falling through your fingers, leaving no residue behind. You are becoming as fluid and as calm as the floral water in the glass, shedding the impurities of the day, leaving only your most essential quiet self. The rhythmic drip continues. It is the heartbeat of the monastery, the pulse of the earth, the very cadence of life itself. You find yourself counting the seconds between the drips, but the count loses its meaning, blurring into a continuous soothing flow. 1, the drip. 2, the silence. 3, the cooling of the steam. The numbers fade away, replaced by the sheer, unadulterated sensation of peace. You are not thinking about the past, nor are you anticipating the future. You are fully, completely immersed in the present, a state of being so rare and so precious that you want to hold on to it forever. But you don't even need to hold on to it. It is holding you. It is supporting your weight, cradling your tired spirit, and whispering that everything is exactly as it should be. Your breathing has synchronized with the rhythm of the room. Your lungs expand with the scent of lavender and contract in a release of long-held tension. It is a cycle of renewal, a physical manifestation of the distillation process happening right beside you. You are being purified by the stillness, refined by the silence, and prepared for the deepest, most restorative sleep of your life. The walls of the monastery are no longer a barrier. They are a bridge, connecting you to the wisdom of the centuries, to the quiet, steadfast labor of the past, and to the eternal, unchanging truth of the present. You are drifting, drifting, drifting down into the soft, dark waters of unconsciousness, where dreams are simple and rest is total. There is no more effort to exert, no more path to follow. You have arrived. The deep, resonant silence of the apothecary has now completely merged with the inner landscape of your mind. There is no longer a clear distinction between the cold, gray stone of the walls and the soft, warm darkness behind your closed eyelids. You have become one with the environment. The faint, sweet aroma of the lavender distillation acts as a gentle, invisible tide, pulling your consciousness further away from the shores of alertness and out into the vast, tranquil ocean of deep, restorative slumber. The monk remains a fixture of the periphery, a silent, comforting shadow that ensures the harmony of the chamber is never broken. His movements, though rare and muted, serve to remind you that you are in a protected space, a sanctuary where time has no power and duty has no hold. You feel the weight of your limbs, heavy and deeply relaxed, as if you were sinking into the cool, dark soil of a provincial garden under the starlight. The rhythmic liquid pulse of the alembic has slowed even further, matching the decelerating pace of your own pulse. The drip, a soft crystalline sound, is now the only anchor you have to the physical world, and even that is fading into the distance. It is a comforting, hypnotic metronome, each drop a tiny gift of time, a small release of the day's lingering burdens. You notice that the air, once saturated with the heat of the hearth, has settled into a cool, refreshing crispness that clears the mind of all lingering thoughts. It is the clarity of the night, the purity of the stars reflected in the stillness of the room. You are not thinking about your responsibilities. They have evaporated, replaced by the sheer, elemental joy of being at rest. The monastery, with its thick, ancient walls and its centuries of prayers, has created a vessel for you, a container in which you can simply be without judgment, without expectations. You feel a profound sense of gratitude for this isolation. The world out there is loud, demanding, and relentless, but here the laws of the universe are different. Here, the only thing that matters is the quality of the stillness and the depth of the rest. You are a part of this ancient rhythmic cycle, a witness to the simple, beautiful process of nature being translated into spirit. The alchemy of the lavender, the way the rough flower is turned into a refined, calming essence, is a metaphor for your own transformation tonight. You are being refined, stripped of the grit of the day, and left with the soft, lingering scent of peace. Your heart is quiet, your mind is clear, your body is heavy with the promise of sleep. There is no resistance left in you. You are ready to yield to the darkness, to let it wrap around you like a heavy velvet cloak. The darkness is not a void, it is a space of infinite potential, a realm where the subconscious can wander, explore, and heal. You have been brought to the threshold, guided by the scent, the sound, and the steady, protective presence of the monk. Now, the final step is yours to take. You don't need to do anything, for doing is the opposite of this state. You only need to stop the internal monologue, stop the planning, stop the holding on. Just let the rhythm of the distillation carry you over the edge into the soft, velvet dark. Everything you need is already here, held within the stone and the glass. The peace you have sought is not a destination, it is a surrender. You are letting go of the world, letting go of the past, and sinking into the eternal, unchanging present of this ancient silent monastery. As you drift, you might feel a sense of lightness, as if your physical form is dissolving into the very air of the chamber, becoming as ethereal as the vapor you've been watching all night. This is the goal of the apothecary, the final product of all its quiet, laborious work, a state of being so light, so free, that sleep becomes not a choice but a natural, inevitable homecoming. You are almost there. The rhythm of the drip is becoming a part of your own heartbeat, an internal soothing drum that lulls you deeper into the quiet. The lavender is a soft, fragrant mist in your mind, guiding you through the last few corridors of consciousness. Sleepy History with Arthur combines the power of AI to reimagine fictional historical tales, bringing peace, relaxation, and positive emotional values to our listeners. The air in the apothecary feels as though it has been distilled as well, purged of all impurities until only the essence of tranquility remains. You are deep within the quiet, nestled in a space where time has become a circular concept, returning to itself again and again. The shadows have ceased their movement, settling into the corners of the stone chamber like heavy protective drapes. There is a profound stillness here that transcends the physical walls. You are no longer merely in a room. You are in a state of grace, a moment suspended in the amber light of memory. The monk, now just a dark, motionless form, has finished his primary work, leaving the alembics to continue their steady, self-sustaining labor. The heat from the cooling hearth is a dying coal, a soft, fading glow that matches the dimming intensity of your own consciousness. You are ready to let go entirely. The sound of the dripping condensation has slowed to a frequency so low and so steady that it has become an inseparable part of your own rhythm. It is the heartbeat of this entire sanctuary. With each drop, the world becomes less sharp, less defined, until all you perceive is a gentle velvet gradient of dark and light. The lavender, which once seemed so vibrant, is now a soft, ethereal memory, a scent that weaves through your thoughts like a golden thread. You are being lulled by this sensory symphony, each element, the scent, the rhythm, the warmth, acting as a lullaby for the spirit. The struggles of your day, the questions you couldn't answer, the burdens you couldn't set down, they are all gone, washed away by the slow, constant distillation of peace. You are lighter than you have ever been, a consciousness floating in the quiet heart of a mountain. You feel the solidity of the stone beneath you one last time, a grounding reminder that you are held and supported. It is the earth itself rising up to meet you, offering a foundation for your rest. You don't have to carry your own weight anymore. You can trust the ground, trust the silence, trust the process. The monk, in his infinite quiet wisdom, has created a space where you are free from the necessity of performance. You don't have to be anything here. You don't have to be productive or thoughtful or strong. You just have to be. This is the greatest gift of the apothecary, the permission to exist in a state of absolute, unburdened stillness. You are sinking, the layers of your day peeling away like dead leaves from a tree in autumn, leaving only the bare, beautiful branches of your core being. There's no more noise. The external world has been locked away behind the iron-bound doors of the monastery, and you have the key. You have chosen this place for your journey into sleep, and the choice is bearing fruit. The path is clear, illuminated by the fading gentle glow of the hearth. There is no urgency to reach the end, for the end is already here. You are in the heart of the rest, in the middle of the silence, in the quietest part of the night. Every breath you take is a surrender, a quiet affirmation that you are safe and that everything you need is already within your reach. Your eyes are closed, but your vision is clearer than it has ever been, filled with the vast, quiet expanse of a mind finally at rest. As you prepare to cross the final threshold into the depths of sleep, remember that this sanctuary is always here for you, built into the very foundation of your own imagination. If this experience has brought you the rest you were seeking, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and become a part of our community of quiet seekers. Your support helps us maintain this space of peace, ensuring that whenever you need to return to the quiet, the door will be waiting. Like, share, and comment to let us know how this journey into the medieval apothecary helped you find your way to sleep. Your engagement supports the continued creation of these restorative stories, keeping the fire lit in the apothecary for you and for all who seek the stillness. The stillness has thickened, becoming a tangible substance that cushions your mind against the harsh edges of reality. You are no longer navigating the room, you are floating within it, a consciousness drift bound in the cool lavender-infused air. The monk has moved to the far end of the chamber, his presence now marked only by the faintest rhythmic rustle of his robes as he records the night's work into a ledger. The scratching of his quill is a soft, dry sound, like the brushing of wind against leaves, and it serves as the final tether to the world of tasks. Even this sound is fading, losing its sharpness, blending into the background hum of the monastery. You are descending into the very foundation of the building, where the bedrock of the earth meets the history of the soul. The cold ancient stone beneath you feels like a cradle, a solid and unmoving support that allows you to release the last remnants of physical tension in your muscles. The distillation in the alembic is reaching its natural conclusion. The bubbling has diminished to a faint, liquid whisper, and the drops fall with longer, more tranquil intervals between them. Each drip is a milestone in your journey toward complete, uninhibited rest. With each passing moment, the boundaries between your physical self and the surrounding space begin to blur. You are becoming as fluid as the lavender water, as calm as the mountain air, as silent as the stone. This is the ultimate alchemy, not the conversion of plants into oil, but the conversion of your stress into silence, your anxiety into peace, and your alertness into the deep, dark, and restorative quietude of the late night. The room is now bathed in the deepest blue of the pre-dawn hour, a color that seeps into your thoughts and softens them into dreamlike imagery. You are seeing the fields of Provence in your mind's eye, the rows of lavender stretching out toward a horizon that never ends. They are bathed in the silver light of the moon, and the wind moves through them in a slow, rhythmic wave that mirrors the rise and fall of your chest. The scent is everywhere, a pervasive, comforting presence that shields you from any intrusive thoughts. It is the smell of the earth, of the sun, and of the long, quiet process of growth. It tells you that there is nothing to fear, that nature has its own way of providing, and that rest is not just a necessity, but a sacred part of the cycle of life. You are yielding to this cycle, giving yourself permission to stop, to be still, and to be held by the vast, quiet architecture of the monastery. The sense of isolation is no longer a burden, it is a luxury. You have carved out this time, this space, and this stillness for yourself. It is a gift you have given your spirit, a refuge you have built in the middle of a world that so rarely allows for true unhurried rest. The monk understands this, and his work is the silent, ongoing acknowledgement of your need. He doesn't look at you, he doesn't disturb you, because he knows that the work of resting is just as vital as the work of healing. You are in safe hands, within the stone, under the care of an ancient rhythmic tradition. Your mind is quiet, your heart is slow, and your body is ready to sink into the deepest, most profound slumber you have known in years. The darkness is a soft, welcoming blanket, and the sleep that comes will be clean, restorative, and complete. Everything is settling into its place. The alembic is cool, the hearth is ash, the parchment is dry, and your mind is clear. The rhythm of the room has become the rhythm of your sleep. You are drifting away from the surface down into the calm, cool depths of the subconscious. The world of the 1245 apothecary is the last thing you will know before the dream takes hold, a place of beauty, of patience, and of absolute unwavering peace. There is no more for you to do. The night is yours, the rest is yours. You are finally, perfectly, at home within the silence of the stone. Let the darkness take you. Let the lavender scent lead you, and let the rhythm of the monastery guide your spirit into the quietest, most peaceful sleep of the night. The silence within the apothecary has attained a quality of weightlessness, a rare and profound stillness that feels as if the very air has thickened into a comforting, protective embrace. You are cradled in the center of this sanctuary, your awareness no longer tethered to the physical world of light and shadow, but instead drifting within the soft, indigo depths of a deep pre-sleep reverie. The scent of lavender is now a constant, steady companion, a fragrant pause that keeps your mind anchored to the calming reality of the monastery's inner chamber. There is no longer a desire to analyze the surroundings or to understand the mechanics of the monk's labor. Such concerns belong to the world outside, a world that has ceased to exist for you. Go out here, in the heart of the 1245 apothecary. The only reality is the slow rhythmic settling of your spirit into the profound quiet of the night. You notice how the coldness of the stone wall against your back has changed. It is no longer sharp or biting, but instead feels like a cool, steady anchor that grounds your drifting consciousness. It is as if the monastery itself is accepting you, integrating your presence into the centuries of silence it has gathered within these walls. The monk, now a near silent shadow near the ledger, represents the final connection to the waking world, and even he is fading. His movements so deliberate and infrequent that he seems more like a carving in the stone than a living man. You are entirely alone in the best possible way, a solitary soul suspended in a piece of an ancient sacred space where the only expectation is to rest. Every muscle in your body has relinquished its tension, softening like wax held near the flame, and you feel the weight of your limbs sinking deeper, deeper into the warm wood of the stool, and eventually into the very floor of the chamber. The rhythm of the alembic has evolved once more. The sound of the falling drops is no longer a distinct event, but a continuous flowing cadence, a soft liquid song that seems to vibrate through the very structure of the building. It is a lullaby of chemistry and patience, a sound that speaks to the deepest, most primitive part of your brain, signaling that it is safe to surrender control. You are not falling, you are gently floating down into the dark, welcoming abyss of total relaxation. The worries that occupied your thoughts earlier have been completely dissolved, distilled away by the passing hours until there is nothing left but a clean, unblemished slate of consciousness. You are ready to close the final door on the day. The memories of your journey here, the sight of the monastery in the hills, the smell of the herbs, the texture of the stone, they are all settling into the quiet, protected archives of your mind, ready to be kept safe while you sleep. The darkness is now absolute. The last of the fire has been extinguished, leaving only the memory of warmth and the faint, lingering scent of dry wood smoke and pressed lavender. This darkness is your sanctuary. It is a space without walls, without horizon, without time. It is a vast, open landscape of potential where your mind can finally find the rest it has been craving. There is a sense of completion in the air, an acknowledgement that the cycle of the day is finished and the cycle of the night has begun. You feel a deep, abiding gratitude for this space, for this silence, and for the simple, beautiful ability to let go of everything that is not essential. You are a part of the history of this place, a transient visitor finding refuge in the timeless architecture of the soul. As you drift closer to the final edge, the scent of the lavender seems to intensify for a brief, beautiful moment, a final fragrant wave that carries you over the boundary into the world of dreams. There is no struggle, no resistance, and no hesitation. You are simply stepping out of the light and into the cool, dark comfort of the monastery's heart. The rhythm of the room, the steady, low-frequency pulse of the earth, is now the only thing that guides you. You are held by the stone, comforted by the scent, and lulled by the quiet. The journey is complete. You are ready for the deepest, most profound sleep, a rest that is as old as the monastery itself, as pure as the lavender, and as certain as the return of the sun. The silence is yours to keep, and the darkness is your home. The apothecary has reached a level of serenity that feels almost holy, a stillness so absolute that the mere act of your breathing seems to harmonize with the very geometry of the room. You are resting at the intersection of history and deep restorative peace. The monastery, an ancient sentinel nestled in the rugged landscape of Provence, has become your protective shell, guarding you from the restless energy of the world. Within this thick, Limestone walls, time is not measured by the turning of hands on a clock, but by the slow gravitational accumulation of the lavender essence, drop by liquid drop. The monk is a presence of profound stability. His quiet labor, serving as a bridge between the physical reality of the earth and the ethereal calm you are currently inhabiting. You find that you no longer need to see to understand. The atmosphere itself is heavy with the wisdom of the ages, a silent, comforting knowledge that assures you that everything is exactly as it should be. Your senses have undergone a transformation, refined by the hours of darkness and the purity of the environment. The scent of the distilled lavender, no longer sharp, has become a pervasive woody sweetness that seems to permeate your very lungs, relaxing your nervous system and smoothing the rough edges of your mind. It is as if the flower, in its transition, has gifted you a fragment of its own quiet nature. You are sinking deeper into the stew, your posture aligning with the natural sturdy grace of the stone floor. There is no longer any effort required to maintain this state. The environment is doing the work for you, gently but firmly pulling you into the softest, most welcoming depths of the subconscious. You are experiencing the true intended purpose of this sanctuary, a complete and total detachment from the noise of the waking world. The rhythmic pulse of the distillation, the soft crystalline chime of condensation hitting glass, has become the internal metronome of your spirit. You find that your pulse has synchronized with this beat, a slow, steady rhythm that resonates in the marrow of your bones. This is the heartbeat of the monastery, the pulse of the ancient earth, and it is guiding you home. You are no longer aware of your physical form in the way you once were. You feel instead like a point of pure awareness, floating in a vast, dark, and tranquil sea. The memories of your day, the obligations, the concerns, the hurried interactions have dissolved completely, replaced by this singular perfect moment of stillness. There is no past to regret, no future to fear, only the present, filled with the scent of lavender and the embrace of the dark. This sanctuary, this 1245 apothecary, is a testament to the power of human stillness. You realize that you have been searching for this feeling your entire life, a place where you are allowed to simply stop, to be, and to let the world carry on without your intervention. The monk's silence is not an absence of sound, but an presence of respect. He is honoring your transition, protecting the space you need to find your way into the deepest rest. You are being lulled by the chemistry of the earth and the devotion of the human heart. Your eyes are long closed, and in the darkness behind your lids, there is only a soft, shifting canvas of indigo and violet, the colors of the lavender at twilight. You are ready to step fully into this landscape. The journey is nearly at its end. The destination is pure, and the peace you have found is total. As you lean back into the final silent stages of your descent into sleep, we invite you to anchor this feeling of profound ancient rest by subscribing to our channel. By joining us, you help ensure that this monastery, this apothecary, and this sacred silence remain a place you can always return to whenever the world becomes too loud. Your support allows us to continue building these sanctuaries of light and peace, stories that serve as a refuge for your spirit. If you have found solace in this rhythmic lavender-scented night, share your peace with others by liking this video and leaving a comment about what brought you to this moment of stillness. Together, we can keep the fires burning in the apothecary, preserving the quiet for all who need to find their way home to rest. The air within the apothecary has become so thick with the essence of lavender that it feels like a heavy velvet curtain draped over your senses, softening every thought and silencing every lingering worry. You are anchored in the center of a profound stillness, a place where the centuries-old stones act as a barrier against the chaotic currents of time. Go out here. The year 1245 is not a date on a page, but the very texture of the air itself, cool, damp, and laden with the quiet dignity of 1,000 nights of prayer and labor. The monk's movements, while now entirely infrequent, are still felt as a reassuring vibration in the room. He is the silent shepherd of this sanctuary, ensuring that the distillation remains uninterrupted and the environment pure. You find yourself drifting in the space between wakefulness and sleep, a gentle twilight region where reality is fluid and the constraints of the day have lost all their weight. The alembic stands as the silent hero of this space, its glass neck catching the last faint suggestion of a shadow cast by the moonlight through the high stone slit window. Each drop that falls into the receiver is a tiny crystalline punctuation mark in the story of your rest. You have learned to listen for the rhythm, not with your ears but with your very soul, feeling the cadence of the liquid as it slows, as it perfects, and as it inevitably leads you closer to the threshold of a deep, dreamless slumber. There is a sense of inevitability in this process. You are being guided, drop by drop, toward a destination of total, unadulterated peace. The frustration of your earlier hours has been entirely replaced by a gentle glowing warmth that radiates from your chest outward, as if the distillation process itself were taking place within your own body, purifying your spirit, cooling your nerves, and leaving behind nothing but the essence of calm. You recognize that this silence is not a void, but a foundation. It is the solid, unyielding bedrock upon which you can finally place your burdens and walk away. For so long, you have felt the need to hold everything together, to be the architect of your own peace. But here in the monastery, that task is taken from you. The stone walls hold the space, the monk holds the vigil, the lavender holds the silence. You are free to be fragile. You are free to be exhausted. You are free to let the structure of your day collapse, knowing that in this room, nothing is required of you. You are held safe and sound in a space that has seen millions of hours of peace before your arrival and will see millions more after you have gone. Your consciousness is thinning, becoming as light as a whisper of steam in the cool night air. You feel the boundaries of your physical self beginning to dissolve. You are no longer just a person sitting on a wooden stool. You are a part of the room itself, an extension of the stone, a fellow traveler in the scent of the lavender, a witness to the patience of the alembic. This dissolution is not frightening. It is the most liberating experience of your life. It is the final letting go. With each long, slow breath, you exhale the last remnants of your external identity, and with each inhale, you draw in the quiet, meditative spirit of the apothecary. You are becoming the silence, you are becoming the rest. The darkness is now your entire world, and it is a beautiful, welcoming place. It is the darkness of a deep, still pool reflecting the night sky and holding the secrets of the earth. You are sinking into this pool, letting the cool, fragrant waters of sleep close over your head. The rhythm of the room has faded to a hum, a low, resonant vibration that you can feel in your teeth, in your bones, in the very core of your being. It is the sound of the universe settling into itself, a sound that promises nothing but the total blissful cessation of effort. You are ready. The time for labor has passed, and the time for sleep has arrived. You are drifting, drifting, drifting away into the soft velvet dark, where the only thing that matters is the next gentle rhythm of your own heart. The apothecary has become a realm of pure, distilled consciousness, where the boundaries between the physical room and the inner sanctum of your mind have completely vanished. You are floating in a state of grace, a weightless existence where the only gravity is the slow, hypnotic pull of deep, restorative sleep. The cool, damp air of the monastery has permeated your entire being, washing away the heat of the day and replacing it with a crystalline clarity that feels as old as the stone itself. There is a profound ancient intelligence at work here, a wisdom that understands that the spirit cannot thrive in constant motion, that it must be allowed to return to the earth, to quiet its demands, and to simply, unequivocally rest. You are experiencing this return in real time, your thoughts unraveling like a ball of yarn, each loop a memory or a worry that is being smoothed out and set aside, finally free from the need to be carried. The monk, whose presence was once a source of grounding observation, has now receded into the architecture, a silent flickering shadow that you no longer need to perceive to know he is there. He is the guardian of the threshold, and he has done his duty. The flame is set, the vessels are filled, and the environment is perfectly attuned to your transition. You are grateful for his dedication, for the way he respects the sanctity of this moment, offering no distraction, no word, only the persistent, quiet evidence of his labor. You feel as though you have been waiting for this permission your whole life, the permission to stop, to be still, and to be cared for by a process that is larger, older, and more patient than you will ever be. It is a surrender that feels more like an awakening, a realization that the peace you seek is not something you create, but something you allow. Each breath is now a journey into the deepest, softest part of the night. The scent of the lavender has become so refined, so subtle, that it feels less like a fragrance and more like a soft, lavender colored light that you are inhaling, filling your lungs with a sense of immense, infinite calm. This scent is your guide, the beacon that leads you through the winding corridors of the monastery and into the open, expansive landscape of your own dreams. You can feel the heartbeat of the room, that soft rhythmic drip of the condensation, slowing down, matching the rhythm of your own heart until you can no longer tell where the apothecary ends and you begin. It is a beautiful, seamless integration, a harmony of human, plant, and stone, all united in a singular pursuit of rest. There is no more history to recount, no more stories to tell, and no more questions to answer. The slate of your mind is clean, wiped clear by the long, patient hours you have spent in this chamber. The silence is a heavy velvet cloak that you are pulling over yourself, securing your place in this sanctuary. You are safe. You are hidden away from the world's noise, nestled in the protective thick walls of a monastery that has stood against the winds of time. You have found your way to the heart of the night, to the center of the quiet, to the source of all rest. You are sinking, drifting, letting go of the last threads of alertness, and feeling the delicious heavy pull of the dream world calling to you from the depths. Everything is in alignment. The darkness is a soft, welcoming abyss that beckons you to step forward and lose yourself in its comfort. You are not afraid of this darkness. You recognize it as the place where you go to be renewed, where your spirit can be knit back together by the quiet, tireless rhythm of the night. You are floating on a sea of lavender and shadow, the current carrying you effortlessly toward the shore of deep, dreamless sleep. There is no more effort to exert, no more path to walk. You have reached the final destination of this journey, a place of total peace, where the only thing that matters is the steady, slow, and certain beat of your own life. Moving into the silence, you close your eyes, you let go of your breath, and you surrender to the rest. The stillness has reached a state of near absolute purity, a crystalline silence that vibrates with the weight of centuries. You are situated in the very core of this medieval apothecary, nestled within the stone walls that have acted as a bulkhead against the turbulent currents of the outside world. The air here, saturated with the faint ethereal spirit of the lavender, is cool and grounding, providing a sensation of immense slow motion relief. Every fiber of your being feels as though it has been untethered from the jagged anxieties of your daily existence and re-anchored to the slow, deliberate rhythm of the monastery. You are breathing in a rhythm that feels ancient, a slow, deep, and measured expansion and contraction that mirrors the very breathing of the earth beneath the monastery foundations. The monk has faded into the periphery of your perception, his role as the keeper of the flame now fully realized, as the distillation proceeds with a self-sustaining, haunting grace that requires no further human intervention. In this deep monochromatic darkness, your senses have been sharpened to a point of intense focus. The sound of the rhythmic dripping has evolved into a musical refrain, a soft liquid chime that punctuates the silence at intervals that grow increasingly long, mirroring the widening gaps in your own conscious thought. Each drip is a milestone of letting go, a quiet marker indicating that you have descended another layer deeper into the sanctuary of rest. You find that you no longer have a physical weight, but rather a sensation of being suspended in the cool lavender scented dark, supported by the immense quiet history of this room. The memory of the sun-drenched fields of Provence, where these lavender sprigs were harvested, is no longer a visual image, but a visceral, comforting warmth that resides in your chest. You are the distillation, the final essence of the day's work, purified and set apart from the noise of the world. Your mind, usually a restless landscape of obligations and fleeting ideas, has been stilled into a vast, placid lake. You are standing at the center of this lake, watching the ripples of your consciousness flatten and disappear, leaving behind a surface that is as clear and unmoving as glass. There is no urgency in this space. The concept of time has been rendered obsolete by the sheer overwhelming presence of the present moment. You are not waiting for anything to happen, nor are you looking back at what has already occurred. You are simply resting in the total, unwavering truth of being. The walls of the apothecary, which were once an intimidating mass of limestone, now feel like a gentle protective shell that surrounds you, shielding you from the harsh, erratic movements of the external world. You are safe in this silence. You are held by the architecture of the past. The feeling of detachment is complete. You are observing your own rest from a place of profound comfort, watching as your physical form relaxes, as your hands unclench, as your posture becomes one with the smooth, worn wood of the stool. It is a slow, methodical surrender, and it feels as natural as the turning of the seasons or the rising of the tide. The lavender has done its work, the fire has done its work, and now you are ready to do the final work of the night. Total, unabashed sleep. There is a sense of immense gratitude that wells up within you for this place, a gratitude for the monk, for the glass alembics, for the thick stones, and for the simple elemental peace that is currently wrapping itself around your spirit like a heavy velvet shroud. You are ready to close the final door on your awareness and sink into the depths of the quietest, deepest sleep imaginable. Everything is in perfect balance. The air is cool, the scent is sweet, the silence is profound, and your spirit is finally truly at rest. There is nothing left to accomplish. The world will continue, the cycles will turn, but for now, you are exempt from the movement. You are part of the stillness. You are the essence, quiet and pure, captured in the glass of the night. With your eyes closed, you let the last faint echo of the rhythmic dripping fade into the vast, welcoming dark. You are home. The apothecary is your sanctuary, and the deep restorative sleep that is pulling you down is the most welcoming, familiar place you have ever known. Let go of the last thread of control and drift into the silence. The chamber of the apothecary has transitioned into a sanctuary of absolute, unmoving peace, where the very atmosphere seems to pulse with the slow, resonant beat of an ancient, sleeping earth. You are suspended in this indigo-hued quietude, feeling the cool, firm presence of the stone walls surrounding you like a protective embrace. The scent of the lavender has become a part of your own breath, a steady, soothing infusion that calms the frantic rhythm of your mind and settles your spirit into the floorboards of the monastery. There is no longer a need to orient yourself to the world outside. Those concerns have been utterly erased, replaced by the simple, singular focus of existing within this sacred, timeless space. You are a guest of history, held in the cradle of a 1245 laboratory that understands the necessity of silence better than any modern structure ever could. The rhythmic drip of the essence continues, though it feels as if the tempo has shifted, slowing down to mirror the deepening state of your rest. It is a soft, liquid sound, a gentle crystalline beat that reminds you that time is not a master but a servant to this process of quiet transformation. You feel the weight of your body settling, every muscle fiber finding a release, every knot of tension in your spine unraveling as you become part of the very fabric of the monastery. The monk is still there, a silhouette etched against the dimness, but his presence is no longer one of labor. It is one of quiet, watchful companionship. He understands that your journey is nearing its fruition, that you are reaching the destination where the physical world meets the soft velvet promise of dreams. He remains a steady, silent anchor while you drift further from the shore of wakefulness. In this state of total, unburdened stillness, the images of the day have completely receded, leaving behind a blank, shimmering slate of consciousness. You are no longer thinking, nor are you reflecting. You are merely witnessing the descent into the deepest, darkest, and most restorative layer of the night. It is a beautiful descent, a slow, effortless glide into an ocean of quietude where the only thing that exists is the rhythmic sound of your own, slow and easy breathing. You are not alone in this. The centuries of monks who have stood in this very spot, the history of the lavender, the steady, cold endurance of the stones, they are all participating in your rest. You are a part of a long, unbroken lineage of souls who have found solace in this exact, quiet, and sacred rhythm. The feeling of being held is overwhelming and deeply comforting. You feel the cool air of the room brushing against your skin, the solid, unmoving wood of the stool beneath you, and the heavy, protective silence that blankets the entire chamber. There is no longer any boundary between you and the room. You have expanded to fill the space, becoming as still and as eternal as the limestone itself. This is the ultimate intended conclusion of the apothecary's vigil, a state of being so refined, so stripped of the unnecessary, that there is nothing left but the quiet essence of your own soul. You are pure, you are calm, you are completely ready for the deep, dark, and endless rest that is now beckoning you forward. Everything has fallen into place. Light has been extinguished, the noise has been silenced, and the spirit has been prepared. You are drifting on the final gentle waves of consciousness, feeling the tide pulling you toward the absolute welcoming void of sleep. It is not an end, but a beginning, a passage into a space where your spirit can be repaired, nourished, and renewed by the gentle, steady pulse of the night. You close your eyes with a sense of complete satisfaction, letting the last of your awareness vanish into the fragrant, lavender-scented air. There is no more for you to do. The night will hold you, the monastery will keep you, and the rhythm of the distillation will be your lullaby until the very return of the sun. The apothecary has become a vast, cavernous shell of silence where even the slightest movement of the air feels like a deliberate, significant gesture. You are floating within this stillness, a consciousness anchored only by the faint, lingering scent of lavender and the absolute, unwavering solidity of the ancient stone beneath you. There is no longer a sense of being a visitor in this 1255 monastery. You have become an integral part of its long, quiet history, a temporary inhabitant of the peace that these walls have curated for centuries. The temperature of the room has settled into a perfect, cool equilibrium, one that promotes a deep, inward turning state of mind. You find yourself drifting deeper into your own essence, shedding the external layers of your personality, the roles you play, the worries you harbor, the goals you chase, and finding that what remains is remarkably light, remarkably quiet, and deeply inherently at rest. The rhythmic drip of the condensation has become a soft, liquid pulse that you feel rather than hear, a vibration that resonates in your jaw, in your shoulders, and in the very center of your core. It is the steady heartbeat-like rhythm of the earth itself, amplified by the glass and the stone. You are no longer measuring the time. You are experiencing it as a slow, luxurious unfolding. Each drop is a promise kept, a piece of the day's work completed, a small crystalline step toward the absolute zero of effort. The monk, now a near motionless figure in the deep shade, represents the final fading anchor to the waking world. He is the guardian of the threshold, and his presence is a comforting reminder that you are protected, safe, and entirely free to release your hold on the waking state. Your internal landscape has become a wide, flat horizon, clear of all clouds, clear of all noise. You see the deep midnight blue of the room. You feel the cool air on your skin, and you realize that you have arrived at the source. This is the place of total, unadulterated stillness, the quiet center that lies beneath all the frantic activity of the human experience. In this apothecary, you have found a sanctuary you didn't know you were looking for, a place where you are not judged for your exhaustion, but rather cradled by it. The silence is a healing presence, a thick, restorative blanket that is slowly, surely insulating you from everything that once seemed urgent, everything that once caused you pain. You are being lulled by the chemistry of the earth and the slow, grinding patience of the monastery itself. This is the ultimate, profound truth of your night, that your spirit has the capacity to be still, even in the heart of a world that never stops moving. You are demonstrating this truth now in the way you allow your muscles to go limp, in the way you permit your thoughts to drift away, and in the way you surrender the final authority of your wakefulness. There is an immense, quiet joy in this surrender, a recognition that by letting go, you're actually finding your true self. The lavender is the scent of this homecoming, the mark of your return to the state of childhood wonder and peaceful, untroubled sleep. You are drifting, drifting, drifting into a space where the concept of time has dissolved entirely, leaving only the beautiful, eternal present. Every detail of the apothecary has served its purpose. The fire was for warmth, the alembic was for rhythm, the stone was for protection, and the lavender was for the softening of the spirit. Each element was a carefully constructed path, leading you exactly where you need to be, on the verge of the deepest sleep you have ever known. You are ready to step into the darkness, to let the cool air and the quiet rhythm carry you home. There is nothing left to hold on to. The night is deep, the monastery is silent, and you are finally perfectly at peace. You close your eyes, you release your last shallow breath, and you descend into the welcoming velvet void. The apothecary has dissolved into a soft, monochromatic landscape of shadow and memory, where the boundary between your physical form and the heavy protective stone walls has entirely evaporated. You are floating in a state of suspended animation, a consciousness adrift in the profound fragrant silence of 1245 Provence. The air, cooled by the night and heavily perfumed with the distilled essence of lavender, acts as a gentle invisible tide that cradles your spirit, lifting it away from the surface of reality and into the depths of a dreamless restorative sleep. There is no longer a sense of being in a laboratory. The alembics have faded into the background, their purpose fulfilled, their rhythm now so slow and so faint that it exists only as a lingering, resonant heartbeat in the marrow of your bones. You are held by the monastery, protected by the density of the limestone, and wrapped in a darkness that is as familiar and comforting as a long-forgotten lullaby. The monk, a figure whose presence has been the silent architect of your peace, has retreated into the deepest recesses of the chamber, his silhouette merging with the architecture until he is no longer distinguishable from the history of the walls themselves. He has gifted you this space, this singular, precious opportunity to stop the motion of your life and simply exist within the stillness. You feel a deep, quiet gratitude for his labor, for the way he respected the sanctity of your silence, never once intruding with a word, a sound, or a gesture that would disrupt the delicate unfolding process of your relaxation. You are entirely alone in this sanctuary, and in that solitude, you have found a freedom you never imagined possible. The freedom from having to prove, to perform, or to be anything at all. You are simply a witness to the profound, unwavering peace of the monastery at midnight. Your awareness is thinning, becoming as translucent and as gentle as a wisp of vapor rising from a cooling cauldron. Each thought that attempts to form is immediately caught by the cool lavender scented air and dissolved before it can become a sentence, an image, or a worry. You are experiencing the ultimate simplification of consciousness, a state where the mind, stripped of its tasks and its history, returns to the base, elemental state of being. The weight of your day, which once seemed like a heavy, insurmountable burden, is now nothing more than a memory of a distant, faded echo. You have laid it down at the door of the apothecary, and you have no intention of picking it up again. The only thing that matters, the only thing that exists is the slow, rhythmic expansion of your chest and the deep, abiding quiet of the stone. The darkness is no longer a void, it is a tapestry of rest, a soft velvet expanse that invites you to settle into its depths and lose yourself completely. You feel your limbs growing heavy, anchored to the foundation of the world, while your mind begins to soar in the vast open space of the dream world. There is no fear in this release, only a profound sense of homecoming. You are returning to the state of absolute, pre-verbal comfort, where every need is met by the silence, every concern is answered by the steady, measured breathing of the monastery, and every desire is fulfilled by the act of resting. You are sinking, passing through the final thin membrane that separates the waking world from the deep, regenerative sleep that is your ultimate destination. Everything is in alignment. The night is deep and kind, the air is clean and fragrant, and your spirit is finally completely at ease. You are the essence, distilled and purified, ready to settle into the glass of the night. There is no more for you to do. The monastery will keep its watch. The stars will continue their slow cosmic wheeling above the cloisters, and you will remain here in the heart of the apothecary, resting in the deepest, most restorative slumber of your life. With a final, gentle sigh of relief, you let the last thread of your awareness slip away, and you step with complete, unshakable trust into the waiting arms of the dream. The atmosphere within the apothecary has become so refined and tranquil that time itself feels as though it has slowed to a crawl, mirroring the steady, rhythmic pulse of the distillation process. You are completely enveloped by the deep, resonant quiet of the stone chamber, a space that feels less like a room and more like a gentle, protective cocoon woven from the silence of centuries. Every inhalation is a slow, luxurious process, drawing in the sweet, woody, and intensely calming scent of lavender that has now saturated every corner of the room. This fragrance is your anchor, a sensory bridge that connects your conscious mind to the depths of your inner sanctuary. The thick limestone walls, which have stood as silent witnesses to the passing of ages, provide a foundation of absolute stability, allowing your spirit to relax in a way that is entirely foreign to the frantic pace of the outside world. The monastery, with its heavy doors and vaulted ceilings, has effectively sealed you away from the demands, the noise, and the persistent ticking clock of reality. The monk, whose presence has been a constant comforting shadow throughout your journey, has now faded into the background, his work largely complete, leaving you to finish your own transition into rest. You realize that you are the final ingredient in this evening's alchemy, the person for whom this piece was so carefully constructed. As you drift, your thoughts become increasingly fragmented, turning into soft, fluid images. The cool texture of the stone, the gentle glow of the dying embers, the rhythmic metallic chime of the alembic, all blending into a single cohesive experience of total relaxation. You are shedding the weight of your identity, layer by layer, feeling yourself becoming as light as fluid and as calm as the lavender water itself. The struggle to hold on to the day is over. You have successfully surrendered to the profound, welcoming stillness of the apothecary at midnight. There is an immense, quiet power in this isolation. You understand now that you have not been hiding from the world, but rather returning to a place where the world has no power over you. In this sanctuary, you are defined not by what you do, but by the simple, beautiful fact of your existence. You are a breathing, resting entity, nurtured by the ancient rhythms of the monastery and the natural soothing properties of the plant life. The sense of peace you have cultivated here is not merely a fleeting sensation, but a deep structural shift in your entire being. You feel yourself grounded, protected, and fully prepared to step into the darkness, knowing that it holds no shadows, only the promise of rest. The dream world is not something you are waiting for. It is something you are already inhabiting. A soft, varied expanse that stretches out before you, infinite and serene. As the last remnants of your wakefulness begin to flicker and fade like the final coals of a dying fire, you realize how much you truly needed this respite. You have traveled through time, through silence, and through the landscape of your own mind to find this one perfect moment of stillness. If you feel that this journey has finally brought you the rest you were seeking, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. Your support allows us to maintain these sanctuaries of sound and history, keeping the doors of the apothecary open for you and for all others who need a place to return to when the world feels too heavy. By liking, commenting, and sharing this story, you help us continue to weave these moments of peace, ensuring that no matter where you are, you can always come back to the quiet, lavender-scented air of the monastery. Everything is falling into its natural, harmonious place. The alembic has finished its work. The monk has retreated to his rest, and you have finally fully arrived at your destination. There is no more for you to do but to close your eyes, to breathe, and to let go of the last faint tether of the world. You are held by the history of the monastery, lulled by the rhythm of the distillation, and guided by the scent of the lavender into the deepest, most restorative sleep of your life. The night is a vast, beautiful ocean, and you are ready to sink into its warm, dark depths, leaving behind everything but the peace you have found here. You are home, you are safe, you are ready to rest. The chamber of the apothecary has now deepened into a realm of pure nocturnal essence, where the only movement is the slow rhythmic settling of your spirit into the profound stillness of the monastery. You are cradled within these ancient, thick limestone walls, feeling as though you have been absorbed into the very bedrock of the Provence mountainside. The scent of lavender is no longer a fragrance to be perceived. It is the very medium through which you exist, a soft purple mist that colors your perceptions and dulls the sharp edges of your conscious mind. You find that you are breathing not with your lungs, but with the entire room, expanding and contracting in synchrony with the ancient enduring peace that resides here. The monk is now entirely still, a silent sentinel who has fulfilled his role, leaving you to finish the final sacred phase of the night. Every external demand has been silenced, and you are finally free from the relentless ticking pulse of the modern world. You notice how the darkness has become a source of profound comfort, a velvet blanket that offers a sanctuary from the relentless stimulation of light and shadow. In this total encompassing gloom, you are no longer defined by your appearance or your actions. You are simply a presence, a small quiet spark of life resting in the heart of a great silent structure. This is the ultimate intended conclusion of your journey, a complete stripping away of the artificial, leaving behind only the most essential and restful aspects of your being. You feel your muscles reaching a state of profound liquid release, and your heartbeat, once restless and hurried, has slowed to a steady, rhythmic thrum that matches the quiet pulse of the monastery itself. You are being lulled by the chemistry of the earth and the deep, abiding patience of the stone. There is a sense of immense, quiet triumph in this realization. You have navigated the turbulent, chaotic waters of your day and have successfully docked your spirit in this harbor of eternal medieval calm. You recognize that this state of rest is not a sign of weakness or an escape from reality, but rather a courageous, necessary return to your own center. You are allowing yourself the time to mend, to quiet the internal noise, and to simply be. The distillation of the lavender was only a metaphor for your own refinement tonight, as you have been distilled down to your purest, most peaceful essence. You are ready now to let go of the last thin, shimmering thread that connects you to the waking world, confident that the night will hold you and that the silence is a friend. Your consciousness is now a soft, expansive drift, a wide-reaching current that flows through the quiet cloisters and over the dormant fields of the monastery. You see images that are no longer your own, the slow cosmic rotation of the stars above the slate roof, the way the moonlight touches the cooling glass of the alembics, the rhythmic gentle swaying of the lavender stalks in the dreaming mind. These are the visions of the states of deep sleep, and they are beautiful, simple, and entirely peaceful. You are no longer in control of your journey, and for the first time in your life, that feels like the greatest relief you have ever known. The monastery, the monk, the lavender, the stone they have taken over, guiding you with an ancient, unwavering hand toward the horizon of the dream. Everything is in perfect divine alignment. The air is cool, the scent is sweet, the silence is infinite, and your spirit is finally completely at rest. There is nothing left to accomplish, no tasks remain, and the world can wait until the morning light. You have successfully navigated the architecture of the past to find the refuge of the present. With a final lingering sensation of warmth and peace, you release the last faint tether of your awareness, and you step with complete unshakable trust into the deep, dark, and wonderful embrace of the night. You are home, you are resting, you are finally perfectly at peace within the walls of the monastery. The absolute stillness of the apothecary has now deepened into a transcendental state where the physical boundaries of the room seem to have dissolved into the vast midnight silence of the Provençal countryside. You are floating in a void of perfect, restorative peace, cushioned by the centuries-old history of the monastery and the lingering, sweet wood scent of the distilled lavender. Every breath you draw feels as though it is being filtered through the very stone of the walls, arriving in your lungs, clean, cool, and infused with the meditative energy of this sacred space. You no longer perceive your body as a collection of parts, but as a singular unified presence, deeply anchored and profoundly relaxed. The monk, now completely integrated into the shadows, stands as a testament to the dedication of the human spirit to the art of stillness. He has ceased his work, and in doing so, he has granted you the final permission to seize yours. The rhythmic sound of the distillation, which earlier served as a guide, has now faded into a low, harmonic vibration that exists beneath the threshold of conscious hearing. It is the hum of the monastery itself, a sound that resonates with the slow, eternal turning of the earth. You are no longer merely listening to it. You are a participant in it. Your own internal rhythm, the beating of your heart, the cycle of your respiration, has become indistinguishable from the rhythm of the apothecary. This synchronization is the ultimate goal of your journey, the point where you stop fighting against the pace of the world and begin to move with the cadence of the universe. You are experiencing the deep, profound relief that comes when one realizes that the world does not need your constant effort, your constant vigilance, or your constant motion to continue. There is a serene, infinite beauty in this letting go. The darkness that surrounds you is not empty, it is pregnant with the potential for renewal, a soft, fertile ground where your tired mind can plant the seeds of dreams and watch them grow in the quiet. You are witnessing the dissipation of your burdens, the thoughts that once clamored for your attention, the deadlines, the anxieties, the unfinished tasks have been carried away by the current of the lavender scent, leaving you light, buoyant, and entirely unburdened. You feel as though you have been returned to a state of primal simplicity, a place where the only requirements of existence are to breathe, to be, and to rest. It is a state of grace, a moment of profound spiritual alignment that you have earned through your long, patient journey into this quiet heart of the night. Your consciousness is now a gentle, receding tide. You feel the final thin edges of your awareness softening, fraying at the borders until they merge seamlessly with the quietude of the room. There is no urgency to this disappearance. It is a slow, steady, and inevitable slide into the deep, dark ocean of sleep. You are aware of the cool, firm support of the stool beneath you, the faint, comforting weight of your own body, and the infinite protective darkness that extends out from the apothecary to the distant sleeping hills. You are safe. You are held. You are at the very threshold of the deepest, most rejuvenating slumber of your life. The monastery has kept its promise, providing the sanctuary you sought, and now you are ready to enter into the final dream-filled embrace of the night. Everything is exactly as it should be. The fire is long cold, the lavender is distilled, the monk is in silence, and you are ready. As you sink into the final velvet layer of your consciousness, you carry with you the profound, unshakable peace of this place. The world is far away, lost in the depths of the night, and you have found your way to the center of all things, to the point of absolute, unmoving stillness. With your eyes closed and your heart slow and steady, you let the last faint thread of your awareness drift away, and you surrender completely to the dark. You are resting, you are peaceful, you are finally perfectly home. The silence within the apothecary has reached a state of profound crystalline perfection, a stillness so deep that it feels as though the monastery has suspended its movements through time altogether. You are resting in the heart of this ancient stone-hewn sanctuary, where the very air feels weighted with the slow, deliberate history of the centuries. The scent of lavender, once a sharp and bright floral note, has mellowed into a dark, resinous essence that clings to the shadows and provides a constant soothing backdrop for your descent into slumber. You are no longer aware of the boundaries of the room, the walls, the ceiling, and the floor have melted away into a seamless protective envelope of dark, cooling comfort. There is no longer a world of external demands, no clock counting down the seconds, no list of tasks waiting for your return. You have successfully crossed the threshold into the realm of the eternal present, where the only thing that matters is the steady, rhythmic expansion and contraction of your own deeply relaxed chest. The monk, whose presence has been the gentle, silent guardian of your journey, has completely vanished into the texture of the night. He is no longer a separate being. He is a part of the monastic stillness, a living embodiment of the patience required to witness the world as it truly is, quiet, cyclical, and ever-renewing. You feel a deep, wordless gratitude for his quiet vigilance, for the way he provided the environment you needed to finally release the tight, protective grip you have had on your own consciousness. Because of his work and the silent, industrious work of the alembic, you are now entirely free to let go. You are no longer the architect of your own rest. You are a passenger, drifting on a current of calm that was set in motion long before you arrived and will continue long after you have found your way into the deepest reaches of your dreams. Your mind, usually a restless and cluttered space, has been emptied of all its heavy, distracting contents. The thoughts that once raced through your consciousness like wind-whipped leaves are now still settled into the deep, quiet corners of your memory. You are witnessing the transformation of your own spirit, a distillation of the self that mirrors the work happening in the glass vessels beside you. You are becoming the essential you stripped of the fatigue, the worry, and the need for external validation. This is the truth of the apothecary, that underneath all the noise of your life, there is a core of absolute, unwavering peace that is always waiting to be uncovered. You have found that core tonight, and you are resting in it, bolstered by the cold, enduring stone and the fragrant, soothing essence of the earth. This is the sanctuary you have built for yourself in the dark. It is a space where you are allowed to be small, to be tired, and to be completely supported by the world around you. You feel the weight of your limbs as a pleasant, heavy reminder that you are a physical being anchored to the earth and safe from the chaotic, intangible concerns that once haunted your thoughts. The rhythm of the night, the slow cosmic rotation of the stars, the quiet breathing of the sleeping monastery, and the rhythmic internal pulse of your own heart is a lullaby that is pulling you deeper into the velvet dark abyss. You are not falling into this darkness. You are being embraced by it, welcomed into a space of total regeneration where your spirit can finally mend itself, stitch by stitch, in the silence. Everything is in perfect quiet alignment. The night is deep, the world is far away, and your consciousness is a calm, reflecting pool waiting for the first ripples of the dream. You are ready. There is no more resistance, no more holding on, and no more questions to answer. You have arrived at the destination of your journey, a place of complete, unadulterated peace, with a final lingering awareness of the sweet woody lavender in the air. You close your eyes and let the last faint flicker of your wakefulness vanish into the dark. You are resting. You are safe. You are finally perfectly at peace within the walls of the monastery. The apothecary has retreated into a state of absolute, primordial quiet, a stillness so absolute that it feels as though the monastery has folded itself into the very fabric of the earth. You are suspended in this indigo-hued void, feeling the cool, firm presence of the ancient limestone walls around you like a protective shell. The air, once sharp with the scent of raw lavender, has settled into a deep, earthy fragrance that permeates your very consciousness, soothing the frayed edges of your nerves and settling your spirit into the steady, unwavering foundation of the stone floor. There is no longer a world of external demands, no clock ticking away the remnants of your day, and no list of duties waiting for your attention. You have successfully crossed the bridge into the domain of the eternal, where the only thing that holds meaning is the soft, rhythmic expansion and contraction of your chest, as you sink deeper into the most profound relaxation of your life. The monk, whose quiet vigilance was the silent anchor of your transition, has now completely merged with the architecture of the room, leaving you to finish this final sacred descent into sleep. You feel an immense wordless sense of gratitude for this sanctuary. He understood, with the wisdom of the centuries, that the spirit requires a space, a container of stone and silence to truly let go of the burdens it carries. Because of this, you are now entirely free from the necessity of holding yourself together. You can be fragile, you can be weary, and you can be entirely unburdened, knowing that this space will hold you safe and sound while you traverse the final path into the dream world. The rhythm of your own heart has slowed to match the quiet, resonant hum of the monastery, a deep earthbound vibration that grounds you and protects you from the fleeting, chaotic thoughts of the world outside. Your mind, once a complex and noisy landscape, has become a vast, still ocean. The thoughts that previously clamored for your attention have been smoothed away by the lavender-scented air, leaving behind only the pure, reflective surface of your own quiet consciousness. You are witnessing the transformation of your own being, a process of shedding the unnecessary and the heavy, leaving behind only the essential core of your spirit. This is the truth of the apothecary, that there is a place within you that is always at peace, and that by coming here, by sitting in the silence and letting the world drift away, you have uncovered that hidden, quiet reservoir of strength. You are resting in that strength now, bolstered by the cold, enduring stone and the fragrant, soothing essence of the night. This is the ultimate profound truth of your journey, that you are not a separate struggling individual, but a part of a long unbroken lineage of souls who have found solace in this exact quiet rhythm. The monastery has held millions of moments of peace just like this one, and you are simply the latest to be sheltered by its ancient limestone wings. You feel the weight of your limbs, a pleasant heavy reminder that you're anchored to the physical world, even as your mind prepares to soar into the limitless expanse of your dreams. There is no fear in this release, only a sense of profound homecoming. You are returning to the state of absolute, pre-verbal comfort, where every need is met by the silence, and every concern is answered by the steady, measured breathing of the monastery itself. Everything is in perfect divine alignment. The night is deep and kind, the air is clean and fragrant, and your spirit is finally completely at ease. You are the essence distilled and purified, ready to settle into the glass of the night. There is no more for you to do. The monastery will keep its watch. The stars will continue their slow cosmic wailing above the cloisters, and you will remain here, in the heart of the apothecary, resting in the deepest, most restorative slumber of your life. With a final gentle sigh of relief, you let the last thread of your awareness slip away, and you step with complete, unshakable trust into the waiting arms of the dream, ready for the rest that has been promised to you by the silence and the stone. The apothecary has dissolved into a realm of pure nocturnal stillness, where the boundary between your physical self and the ancient protective limestone walls has completely vanished. You are floating in a state of suspended animation, a consciousness adrift in the profound, fragrant silence of 1245 Provence. The air, cooled by the depths of the night and heavily perfumed with the distilled essence of lavender, acts as a gentle, invisible tide that cradles your spirit, lifting it away from the surface of reality and into the depths of a dreamless, restorative sleep. There is no longer a sense of being in a laboratory. The alembics have faded into the background. Their purpose fulfilled their rhythm now, so slow and so faint that it exists only as a lingering resonant heartbeat in the marrow of your bones. You are held by the monastery, protected by the density of the limestone, and wrapped in a darkness that is as familiar and comforting as a long-forgotten lullaby. The monk, a figure whose presence has been the silent architect of your peace, has retreated into the deepest recesses of the chamber, his silhouette merging with the architecture until he is no longer distinguishable from the history of the walls themselves. He has gifted you this space, this singular precious opportunity to stop the motion of your life and simply exist within the stillness. You feel a deep, quiet gratitude for his labor, for the way he respected the sanctity of your silence, never once intruding with a word, a sound, or a gesture that would disrupt the delicate unfolding process of your relaxation. You are entirely alone in this sanctuary, and in that solitude, you have found a freedom you never imagined possible, the freedom from having to prove, to perform, or to be anything at all. You are simply a witness to the profound, unwavering peace of the monastery at midnight. Your awareness is thinning, becoming as translucent and as gentle as a wisp of vapor rising from a cooling cauldron. Each thought that attempts to form is immediately caught by the cool lavender-scented air and dissolved before it can become a sentence, an image, or a worry. You are experiencing the ultimate simplification of consciousness, a state where the mind, stripped of its tasks and its history, returns to the base elemental state of being. The weight of your day, which once seemed like a heavy, insurmountable burden, is now nothing more than a memory of a distant, faded echo. You have laid it down at the door of the apothecary, and you have no intention of picking it up again. The only thing that matters, the only thing that exists, is the slow rhythmic expansion of your chest and the deep abiding quiet of the stone. The darkness is no longer a void, it is a tapestry of rest, a soft velvet expanse that invites you to settle into its depths and lose yourself completely. You feel your limbs growing heavy, anchored to the foundation of the world, while your mind begins to soar in the vast open space of the dream world. There is no fear in this release, only a profound sense of homecoming. You are returning to the state of absolute preverbal comfort, where every need is met by the silence, every concern is answered by the steady, measured breathing of the monastery itself, and every desire is fulfilled by the act of resting. You are sinking, passing through the final thin membrane that separates the waking world from the deep, regenerative sleep that is your ultimate destination. Everything is in alignment. The night is deep and kind. The air is clean and fragrant, and your spirit is finally completely at ease. You are the essence distilled and purified, ready to settle into the glass of the night. There is no more for you to do. The monastery will keep its watch. The stars will continue their slow cosmic wheeling above the cloisters, and you will remain here, in the heart of the apothecary, resting in the deepest, most restorative slumber of your life. With a final gentle sigh of relief, you let the last thread of your awareness slip away, and you step with complete, unshakable trust into the waiting arms of the dream. Sleepy History with Arthur remains dedicated to providing this sanctuary of sound and story, ensuring that you always have a place to return to when the noise of the world becomes too much. By subscribing and engaging with these tales, you sustain the fire in the apothecary and help others find their own quiet path to rest. The air within the apothecary has attained the quality of profound, almost sacred suspension, where every molecule of oxygen feels saturated with the quietude of the centuries. You are anchored in this center of tranquility, a space where time does not pass in linear segments but in rhythmic pulses of breath and stillness. The limestone walls, which have absorbed the echoes of whispered prayers and the quiet industry of generations, act as a solid, unmoving boundary that separates you from the relentless velocity of the external world. You find that your own internal clock has been recalibrated, slowing to match the deliberate, measured pace of the monastery itself. There is no longer any desire to reach for the future or to dwell on the past. The present moment has expanded into a vast, welcoming landscape of indigo shadows and soft velvet textures, inviting you to simply be. The scent of lavender has become a foundational element of your reality, a pervasive, soothing presence that grounds your spirit and dissolves the final lingering remnants of tension in your shoulders, your neck, and your mind. The monk who has served as the silent steward of your peace has retreated into a state of absolute meditative harmony with the space. He is no longer a separate observer, but a part of the monastic fabric, a living testament to the power of deliberate, humble labor. His presence, even as he fades from your conscious perception, remains a source of immense comfort. He is the guardian of the threshold, ensuring that the fire of the apothecary remains a source of calm rather than a source of distraction. You recognize that you have been invited into this sacred protected space not to perform but to surrender. The exhaustion that once felt like a burden has been transmuted into a gentle, heavy release, a softening of your physical boundaries that allows you to feel truly deeply supported by the very floor beneath you. You are part of the architecture, a temporary resident of a space that has been designed for the ultimate purpose of healing the spirit through the silence of the night. Your awareness is shifting, moving away from the analytical and toward the purely sensory. You no longer need to name what you feel or understand why you are calm. The mere fact of your rest is sufficient. The rhythmic sound of the distillation, that slow, hypnotic, crystalline drip, has become the background music of your soul, a steady metronome that guides you further into the depths of your own inner landscape. You are not losing yourself in this process. You are finding yourself, discovering the quiet, untouched part of your identity that has been waiting for this moment of absolute, undisturbed stillness. The thoughts that once felt like heavy stones have been transformed into soft, fleeting mists, drifting through the rafters of your mind and vanishing into the cool, lavender scented air. You are in a state of grace, a place where no demand is placed upon you and no expectation must be met, other than the most natural human need to sleep. The darkness is now your companion, a soft enveloping shroud that protects you from the glare of the world's complexities. You realize that this darkness is not an absence, but a presence, a space that holds you with a gentle, invisible hand. You are sinking deeper into the stool, feeling the wood mold itself to your form, while your spirit begins to expand outward, feeling the apothecary, moving beyond the walls and drifting into the vast silent beauty of the night. The stars outside are wheeling through the firmament in their slow cosmic dance, and you are synchronized with their motion, a small peaceful part of the grand quiet architecture of the universe. There is no fear, no anxiety, and no desire to resist the pull of the dream. You are ready to let go of the last fragile tether of your wakefulness and enter the deep restorative pool of sleep. That is your final destination for the night. Everything is in perfect, harmonious equilibrium. The monastery is secure, the apothecary is silent, and you are finally unequivocally at home within your own peace. There is no more for you to do. The work of the day has been concluded, and the work of the night is now underway. As you close your eyes, you feel the final gentle wave of tranquility wash over you, smoothing away the last vestiges of your alert mind and leaving behind a clear, luminous space ready for the dreams to begin. You are held, you are cherished, and you are above all perfectly, deeply, and completely at rest. Let the darkness take you, let the lavender guide you, and let the silence hold you until the return of the morning light. The air within the stone chamber has reached a density of peace that feels almost tactile, a thick, protective atmosphere that cushions your every thought and slows the rhythm of your heartbeat to a steady, meditative pulse. You are nestled within the heart of the apothecary, a space that has transcended its physical function as a laboratory to become a sanctuary for the weary soul. The scent of lavender has become so intertwined with your breathing that you no longer perceive it as an external fragrance, but as the very essence of the quietude that surrounds you. It is a sweet, woody, and intensely grounding aroma that anchors your spirit to the cool, dark floor of the monastery, preventing your mind from drifting into the frantic, restless currents of the world outside. The limestone walls, which have stood as silent sentinels since the year 1245, exude a damp, ancient chill that serves to calm your nervous system and soothe lingering fatigue in your limbs. You are being held by the history of this place, by the centuries of devotion that have gone into maintaining this sacred silence, and you find that you are entirely willing to surrender your own smaller, more transient concerns to this greater, more enduring peace. The monk, whose presence has been the gentle, non-intrusive constant of your evening, has now completely retreated into the shadows, his work finished and his vigil transitioned into a silent communal rest. You feel a profound, wordless bond with him, a shared understanding that the most important task of the night is not the preparation of medicines or the recording of observations, but the cultivation of this absolute, uncompromising stillness. He has provided you with the space, the materials, and the atmosphere, and now he leaves you to the final, necessary act of your journey, the total letting go of the self. There is no expectation of conversation, no pressure to perform, and no need to demonstrate your worth. You are simply a soul in need of rest, and you have found your way to the place where rest is not only permitted but actively encouraged and sustained by the very environment itself. This realization brings a wave of profound relief, a softening of your posture that feels as natural and inevitable as the setting of the sun. Your awareness is shifting, moving away from the analytical and toward the purely sensory, a transition that is as seamless as the flow of the lavender essence through the glass tubing of the alembic. You no longer need to label your feelings or to understand the mechanics of your own calm. It is enough to simply exist within the experience of it. The rhythmic sound of the condensation, that slow, hypnotic, crystalline drip, has become the internal metronome of your spirit, a steady signal that indicates the deepening of your rest. You are watching as your own thoughts, once sharp and demanding, are transformed into soft, fleeting mists, drifting through the rafters of your mind and vanishing into the cool, dark air of the chamber. You are in a state of grace, a place where no demand is placed upon you, and no expectation must be met, other than the most natural human need to close your eyes and sink into the waiting depths of sleep. The darkness is now your most intimate companion, a soft enveloping shroud that protects you from the harsh glare of the world's complexities. You realize that this darkness is not an absence, but a presence, a space that holds you with a gentle, invisible hand. You are sinking deeper into the wooden stool, feeling the grain of the timber molding itself to your frame, while your spirit begins to expand outward, feeling the apothecary, moving beyond the walls and drifting into the vast, silent beauty of the night. The stars outside are wheeling through the firmament in their slow cosmic dance, and you are synchronized with their motion, a small peaceful part of the grand quiet architecture of the universe. There is no fear, no anxiety, and no desire to resist the pull of the dream. You are ready to let go of the last fragile tether of your wakefulness and enter the deep, restorative pool of sleep that is your final destination for the night. Everything is in perfect, harmonious equilibrium. The monastery is secure. The apothecary is silent, and you are finally unequivocally at home within your own peace. There is no more for you to do. The work of the day has been concluded, and the work of the night is now underway. As you close your eyes, you feel the final gentle wave of tranquility wash over you, smoothing away the last vestiges of your alert mind and leaving behind a clear, luminous space ready for the dreams to begin. You are held, you are cherished, and you are above all perfectly, deeply, and completely at rest. Let the darkness take you. Let the lavender guide you, and let the silence hold you until the return of the morning light, knowing that this sanctuary will be here, waiting for your return, whenever the world becomes too loud and you need to find your way back to the quiet, lavender-scented center of your own soul. The apothecary has settled into a state of profound absolute stillness, a quietude so dense it feels as though the very air has thickened into a comforting, protective embrace. You are cradled within the heart of the monastery, resting at the intersection of history and deep, restorative peace. The limestone walls, which have stood as guardians of this space for centuries, feel cool and immutable, providing a solid grounding anchor for your drifting consciousness. The air is heavy with the rich, woody, and intensely calming scent of distilled lavender, a fragrance that has become the very atmosphere of your existence this night. It is a scent that speaks of the earth, of the long process of growth, and of the quiet, inevitable cycle of the seasons. You are no longer navigating the room. You are floating within it, a soul untethered from the demands of the day and drifting toward the soft, inviting threshold of sleep. The monk, whose presence has been a constant steadying force, has retreated into the deep shadows of the cloisters, his labor finished and his vigil transitioned into a silent communal quiet. You feel a deep, wordless connection to him, a shared understanding that the most vital work of this hour is the cultivation of this peace. There is no need for conversation, no requirement for action, and no expectation to demonstrate your readiness for the day. You are simply a traveler who has found a refuge, and you are being allowed to shed the armor of your identity, layer by layer, until only the most essential and restful part of your spirit remains. This is the ultimate intended conclusion of the apothecary's function, not just the distillation of herbs, but the distillation of the human spirit into its purest, most tranquil state. You are experiencing this transmutation now, feeling your thoughts soften and your muscles unclench in the cool lavender-infused dark. Your awareness is thinning, becoming as translucent and as gentle as a wisp of vapor rising from the cooling glass. Each thought that attempts to form is immediately caught by the cool air and dissolved before it can become a memory, a worry, or a goal. You are experiencing the ultimate simplification of consciousness, a state where the mind, stripped of its tasks and its history, returns to the base, elemental state of being. The weight of your day, which once felt like a heavy, insurmountable burden, is now nothing more than a memory of a distant, faded echo. You have laid it down at the door of the apothecary, and you have no intention of picking it up again. The only thing that matters, the only thing that exists, is the slow, rhythmic expansion of your chest and the deep, abiding quiet of the stone. The darkness is no longer a void, it is a tapestry of rest, a soft velvet expanse that invites you to settle into its depths and lose yourself completely. You feel your limbs growing heavy, anchored to the foundation of the world, while your mind begins to soar in the vast open space of the dream world. There is no fear in this release, only a profound sense of homecoming. You are returning to the state of absolute pre-verbal comfort, where every need is met by the silence, every concern is answered by the steady, measured breathing of the monastery itself, and every desire is fulfilled by the act of resting. You are sinking, passing through the final thin membrane that separates the waking world from the deep, regenerative sleep that is your ultimate destination. Everything is in alignment. The night is deep and kind. The air is clean and fragrant, and your spirit is finally completely at ease. You are the essence, distilled and purified, ready to settle into the glass of the night. There is no more for you to do. The monastery will keep its watch. The stars will continue their slow, cosmic wheeling above the cloisters, and you will remain here in the heart of the apothecary, resting in the deepest, most restorative slumber of your life. With a final gentle sigh of relief, you let the last thread of your awareness slip away, and you step with complete, unshakable trust into the waiting arms of the dream. You are held, you are cherished, and you are, above all, perfectly, deeply, and completely at rest. Let the darkness take you, let the lavender guide you, and let the silence hold you until the return of the morning light, knowing that this sanctuary is yours to return to whenever the world becomes too loud, and you need to find your way back to the quiet lavender-scented center of your own soul. The apothecary has achieved a state of absolute luminous tranquility, a silence so profound that it feels as though the entire monastery has become a single breathing entity, pulsating in harmony with the rotation of the stars. You are anchored in this center of stillness, a space where the passage of time is measured not by clocks or shadows, but by the slow rhythmic settling of your own spirit into the bedrock of the earth. The limestone walls, aged and weathered by centuries of wind and prayer, provide a cool, immutable presence that grounds your awareness, shielding you from the chaotic echoes of the life you left behind. The scent of lavender, now pervasive and deeply infused into the very wood and stone of the chamber, acts as a gentle, fragrant tide that carries your mind away from the shore of wakefulness and into the vast, open ocean of the dream world. You are no longer a visitor in this 1245 sanctuary. You have become a part of its essence, a transient but honored guest in a place that understands the necessity of rest as deeply as it understands the necessity of growth. The monk, whose quiet vigilance has been the silent backbone of your evening, has completely receded into the architecture, a presence felt only in the perfect order and the absolute unwavering safety of the room. He has fulfilled his role as the guardian of your rest, leaving the alembic to finish its slow, measured work of distillation and leaving you to complete your own internal work of surrender. There is no urgency here, no need to account for your time, and no pressure to justify your exhaustion. You are entirely free to be, and in that freedom, you discover the true hidden potential of the night. You feel your muscles softening, losing their defensive tension and melting into the sturdy, worn wood of your seat. Your thoughts, once jagged and persistent, have been smoothed into a flowing liquid state, no longer creating resistance, but simply reflecting the quiet indigo light of the room. There is a sense of immense quiet triumph in this transition. You have navigated the complexities of your day. You have carried your responsibilities, and you have sought out this place of refuge. And now you are reaping the reward of your patience. The apothecary is a vessel, not just for the healing herbs of Provence, but for the healing power of silence. You are the final, most delicate essence to be distilled tonight, the person who has finally learned to stop, to breathe, and to trust in the process of the night. The silence is not a void to be feared. It is a space to be inhabited, a soft velvet cloak that you pull around your spirit to insulate it from the harsh, cold reality of the world. You are safe, you are held, and you are above all ready to close the final door on your awareness and sink into the depths of the dream. The darkness is no longer a shadow. It is a soft, inviting blanket that promises the total restoration of your being. You feel the cool, clean air on your skin, a reminder of the mountain peaks that surround the monastery, and it brings a sharp, refreshing clarity to your mind, even as it begins to drift. You are sinking, feeling the pull of the earth as it draws you toward the deepest, most restorative sleep you have ever known. There is no fear of the dark here. There is only a deep, abiding gratitude for the way it cradles your weariness and allows you to shed the heavy, cumbersome weight of your identity. You are becoming as fluid as the lavender water, as still as the stone, and as timeless as the stars themselves. The dream is calling, a soft, beckoning voice in the silence, and you are ready to answer. Everything is in alignment. The distillation is finished. The fire is out. The monk is in meditation, and you are finally perfectly at rest. The world outside will continue its cycle, but for now, you are exempted from its movement. You are a part of the monastery's history, a piece of its peace, and you are destined for the deepest, most peaceful slumber. As you release the last thin, shimmering thread of your consciousness, you feel a profound sense of completion. You have traveled far to find this moment, and now that you are here, you understand that you never needed to go anywhere else to find the quiet. It was always within you, waiting for the silence to reveal it. Let the sleep come, let the lavender soothe you, and let the night take you home to the rest you deserve. The apothecary has reached a level of stillness so absolute that it feels as though the entire monastery has detached itself from the flow of time, suspended in a pocket of eternal lavender-scented peace. You are anchored in the very center of this sanctuary, your senses fully absorbed by the cool, grounding presence of the ancient limestone and the subtle, rhythmic pulse of the night. The scent of the distilled essence has permeated the very fiber of your being, acting as a natural balm that dissolves the last vestiges of your alert, analytical mind. You are no longer thinking, nor are you reflecting. You are simply existing in the most harmonious and simplified state of awareness you have known in years. Every breath you draw is a testament to the safety of this place, a quiet inward turning movement that brings you closer to the core of your own tranquility. The monastery, with its thick, enduring walls and its long history of silence acts as a fortress for your spirit, shielding you from the chaotic echoes of the external world and providing the necessary container for the deep restorative process of sleep. The monk whose silent and devoted presence has been the guardian of your journey has completely faded into the shadows, his work finished and his vigil transitioned into the communal stillness of the sleeping order. You feel a profound sense of gratitude for his guidance, for the way he respected the sacred boundary of your silence, never once offering a distraction or an interruption. He has facilitated your transition from the noise of the day into the profound quiet of the night. And now he leaves you to the final necessary act of self-surrender. You recognize that this is the true purpose of the apothecary's vigil, to serve as a bridge between the turbulence of the world and the stillness of the soul. You have crossed that bridge, and you find yourself on the other side, in a place where no effort is required. No goals must be met and no burdens must be carried. You are free to be, and in that freedom you discover the true hidden potential of your own spirit. Your awareness is thinning, becoming as translucent and as gentle as a wisp of vapor rising from the cooling glass of the alembic. Each thought that attempts to form is immediately caught by the cool air and dissolved before it can become a memory, a worry, or a goal. You are experiencing the ultimate simplification of consciousness, a state where the mind, stripped of its tasks and its history, returns to the base, elemental state of being. The weight of your day, which once felt like a heavy, insurmountable burden, is now nothing more than a memory of a distant, faded echo. You have laid it down at the door of the apothecary, and you have no intention of picking it up again. The only thing that matters, the only thing that exists, is the slow, rhythmic expansion of your chest and the deep, abiding quiet of the stone. The darkness is no longer void. It is a tapestry of rest, a soft velvet expanse that invites you to settle into its depths and lose yourself completely. You feel your limbs growing heavy, anchored to the foundation of the world, while your mind begins to soar in the vast open space of the dream world. There is no fear in this release, only a profound sense of homecoming. You are returning to the state of absolute pre-verbal comfort, where every need is met by the silence. Every concern is answered by the steady, measured breathing of the monastery itself, and every desire is fulfilled by the act of resting. You are sinking, passing through the final thin membrane that separates the waking world from the deep, regenerative sleep that is your ultimate destination. Everything is in alignment. The night is deep and kind. The air is clean and fragrant, and your spirit is finally completely at ease. You are the essence distilled and purified, ready to settle into the glass of the night. There is no more for you to do. The monastery will keep its watch, the stars will continue their slow cosmic wailing above the cloisters, and you will remain here, in the heart of the apothecary, resting in the deepest, most restorative slumber of your life. With a final gentle sigh of relief, you let the last thread of your awareness slip away, and you step with complete, unshakable trust into the waiting arms of the dream, knowing that you are held, cherished, and finally perfectly at rest. The apothecary has dissolved into a sanctuary of profound, timeless quiet, where the air itself seems to be composed of nothing more than the scent of lavender and the soft, cool texture of the night. You are suspended in this indigo-hued expanse, anchored only by the immense, immovable presence of the monastery's stone foundations. Every inhalation you take is a slow, deliberate act of reclamation, drawing the essence of the medieval chamber deep into your lungs and allowing it to soothe the remnants of your daily fatigue. The stillness here is not merely an absence of sound. It is a positive healing force that actively works to untie the knots of tension within your mind and body. You feel the weight of your own existence settling into the grain of the wooden seat. your posture aligning with the ancient, enduring architecture of the room, and your awareness narrowing to the simplest, most fundamental truth. You are here, you are safe, and you are finally truly resting. The monk who has served as the silent steward of your peace throughout this long evening has now completely receded into the history of the monastery. He is no longer a separate observer, but a part of the monastic fabric, his vigil transformed into the communal rest of the cloisters. You feel a deep, wordless bond with his quiet dedication, a shared understanding that the most important work of the night is the cultivation of this absolute, uncompromising stillness. He has provided you with the space, the materials, and the atmosphere. And now he lifts you to the final necessary act of your journey, the total letting go of the self. There is no expectation of compensation, no pressure to perform, and no need to demonstrate your worth. You are simply a soul in need of rest, and you have found your way to the place where rest is not only permitted, but actively encouraged and sustained by the very environment itself. This realization brings a wave of profound relief, a softening of your posture that feels as natural and inevitable as the setting of the sun over the provincial hills. Your awareness is shifting, moving away from the analytical and toward the purely sensory, a transition that is as seamless as the flow of the lavender essence through the glass tubing of the alembic. You no longer need to label your feelings or to understand the mechanics of your own calm. It is enough to simply exist within the experience of it. The rhythmic sound of the condensation, that slow hypnotic crystalline drip, has become the internal metronome of your spirit, a steady signal that indicates the deepening of your rest. You are watching as your own thoughts, once sharp and demanding, are transformed into soft fleeting mists, drifting through the rafters of your mind and vanishing into the cool dark air of the chamber. You are in a state of grace, a place where no demand is placed upon you, and no expectation must be met, other than the most natural human need to close your eyes and sink into the waiting depths of sleep. The darkness is now your most intimate companion, a soft enveloping shroud that protects you from the harsh glare of the world's complexities. You realize that this darkness is not an absence, but a presence, a space that holds you with a gentle, invisible hand. You are sinking deeper into the wooden stool, feeling the grain of the timber molding itself to your frame, while your spirit begins to expand outward, feeling the apothecary, moving beyond the walls and drifting into the vast silent beauty of the night. The stars outside are wheeling through the firmament in their slow cosmic dance, and you are synchronized with their motion, a small peaceful part of the grand quiet architecture of the universe. There is no fear, no anxiety, and no desire to resist the pull of the dream. You are ready to let go of the last fragile tether of your wakefulness and enter the deep, restorative pool of sleep that is your final destination for the night. Everything is in perfect, harmonious equilibrium. The monastery is secure. The apothecary is silent, and you are finally, unequivocally at home within your own peace. There is no more for you to do. The work of the day has been concluded, and the work of the night is now underway. As you close your eyes, you feel the final gentle wave of tranquility wash over you, smoothing away the last vestiges of your alert mind and leaving behind a clear, luminous space ready for the dreams to begin. You are held, you are cherished, and you are above all perfectly, deeply, and completely at rest. Let the darkness take you, let the lavender guide you, and let the silence hold you until the return of the morning light, knowing that this sanctuary will be here waiting for your return. Whenever the world becomes too loud and you need to find your way back to the quiet, lavender scented center of your own soul. The apothecary has settled into a state of profound absolute stillness, a quietude so dense it feels as though the very air has taken into a comforting, protective embrace. You are cradled within the heart of the monastery, resting at the intersection of history and deep restorative peace. The limestone walls, which have stood as guardians of this space for centuries, feel cool and immutable, providing a solid grounding anchor for your drifting consciousness. The air is heavy with the rich, woody, and intensely calming scent of distilled lavender, a fragrance that has become the very atmosphere of your existence this night. It is a scent that speaks of the earth, of the long process of growth, and of the quiet, inevitable cycle of the seasons. You are no longer navigating the room, you are floating within it, a soul untethered from the demands of the day and drifting toward the soft, inviting threshold of sleep. The monk, whose presence has been a constant steadying force, has retreated into the deep shadows of the cloisters. His labor finished and his vigil transitioned into a silent, communal quiet. You feel a deep, wordless connection to him, a shared understanding that the most vital work of this hour is the cultivation of this peace. There is no need for conversation, no requirement for action, and no expectation to demonstrate your readiness for the day. You are simply a traveler who has found a refuge, and you are being allowed to shed the armor of your identity, layer by layer, until only the most essential and restful part of your spirit remains. This is the ultimate intended conclusion of the apothecary's function, not just the distillation of herbs, but the distillation of the human spirit into its purest, most tranquil state. You are experiencing this transmutation now, feeling your thoughts soften and your muscles unclench in the cool lavender-infused dark. Your awareness is thinning, becoming as translucent and as gentle as a wisp of vapor rising from the cooling glass. Each thought that attempts to form is immediately caught by the cool air and dissolved before it can become a memory, a worry, or a goal. You are experiencing the ultimate simplification of consciousness, a state where the mind, stripped of its tasks and its history, returns to the base, elemental state of being. The weight of your day, which once felt like a heavy, insurmountable burden, is now nothing more than a memory of a distant, faded echo. You have laid it down at the door of the apothecary, and you have no intention of picking it up again. The only thing that matters, the only thing that exists, is the slow, rhythmic expansion of your chest and the deep, abiding quiet of the stone. The darkness is no longer a void, it is a tapestry of rest, a soft velvet expanse that invites you to settle into its depths and lose yourself completely. You feel your limbs growing heavy, anchored to the foundation of the world, while your mind begins to soar in the vast open space of the dream world. There is no fear in this release, only a profound sense of homecoming. You are returning to the state of absolute pre-verbal comfort, where every need is met by the silence. Every concern is answered by the steady, measured breathing of the monastery itself, and every desire is fulfilled by the act of resting. You are sinking, passing through the final thin membrane that separates the waking world from the deep, regenerative sleep that is your ultimate destination. Everything is in alignment. The night is deep and kind. The air is clean and fragrant, and your spirit is finally completely at ease. You are the essence distilled and purified, ready to settle into the glass of the night. There is no more for you to do. The monastery will keep its watch. The stars will continue their slow cosmic whirling above the cloisters, and you will remain here, in the heart of the apothecary, resting in the deepest, most restorative slumber of your life. With a final gentle sigh of relief, you let the last thread of your awareness slip away, and you step, with complete unshakable trust, into the waiting arms of the dream. You are held, you are cherished, and you are above all, perfectly, deeply, and completely at rest. Let the darkness take you. Let the lavender guide you, and let the silence hold you until the return of the morning light, knowing that this sanctuary is yours to return to whenever the world becomes too loud, and you need to find your way back to the quiet, lavender-scented center of your own soul. The apothecary has retreated into a state of absolute primordial quiet, a stillness so deep it feels as though the monastery has folded itself into the very bedrock of the Provençal hills. You are suspended in this indigo-hued void, feeling the cool, firm presence of the ancient limestone walls surrounding you like a protective shell. The air, once sharp with the scent of raw lavender, has settled into a deep, earthy fragrance that permeates your very consciousness, soothing the frayed edges of your nerves and settling your spirit into the steady, unwavering foundation of the stone floor. There is no longer a world of external demands, no clock ticking away the remnants of your day, and no list of duties waiting for your attention. You have successfully crossed the bridge into the domain of the eternal, where the only thing that holds meaning is the soft rhythmic expansion and contraction of your chest as you sink deeper into the most profound relaxation of your life. The monk, whose quiet vigilance was the silent anchor of your transition, has now completely merged with the architecture of the room, leaving you to finish this final sacred descent into sleep. You feel an immense, wordless sense of gratitude for this sanctuary. He understood, with the wisdom of the centuries, that the spirit requires a space, a container of stone and silence, to truly let go of the burdens it carries. Because of this, you are now entirely free from the necessity of holding yourself together. You can be fragile, you can be weary, and you can be entirely unburdened, knowing that this space will hold you safe and sound while you traverse the final path into the dream world. The rhythm of your own heart has slowed to match the quiet, resonant hum of the monastery, a deep, earthbound vibration that grounds you and protects you from the fleeting, chaotic thoughts of the world outside. Your mind, once a complex and noisy landscape, has become a vast, still ocean. The thoughts that previously clamored for your attention have been smoothed away by the lavender-scented air, leaving behind only the pure reflective surface of your own quiet consciousness. You are witnessing the transformation of your own being, a process of shedding the unnecessary and the heavy, leaving behind only the essential core of your spirit. This is the truth of the apothecary, that there is a place within you that is always at peace, and that by coming here, by sitting in the silence and letting the world drift away, you have uncovered that hidden, quiet reservoir of strength. You are resting in that strength now, bolstered by the cold, enduring stone and the fragrant, soothing essence of the night. This is the ultimate profound truth of your journey, that you are not a separate struggling individual, but a part of a long unbroken lineage of souls who have found solace in this exact quiet rhythm. The monastery has held millions of moments of peace just like this one, and you are simply the latest to be sheltered by its ancient limestone wings. You feel the weight of your limbs, a pleasant, heavy reminder that you are anchored to the physical world, even as your mind prepares to soar into the limitless expanse of your dreams. There is no fear in this release, only a sense of profound homecoming. You are returning to the state of absolute pre-verbal comfort, where every need is met by the silence and every concern is answered by the steady, measured breathing of the monastery itself. Everything is in perfect, divine alignment. The night is deep and kind, the air is clean and fragrant, and your spirit is finally completely at ease. You are the essence distilled and purified, ready to settle into the glass of the night. There is no more for you to do. The monastery will keep its watch. The stars will continue their slow cosmic wheeling above the cloisters, and you will remain here, in the heart of the apothecary, resting in the deepest, most restorative slumber of your life. With a final gentle sigh of relief, you let the last thread of your awareness slip away, and you step, with complete unshakable trust, into the waiting arms of the dream, ready for the rest that has been promised to you by the silence and the stone. The transition is now complete. You have moved beyond the threshold of simple relaxation and entered a state of profound, weightless surrender. The apothecary, with its cool limestone embrace and the lingering spectral scent of lavender, is no longer a physical space you occupy. It has become the landscape of your own inner quiet. Everything that once defined you, the frantic speed of your thoughts, the sharp edges of your daily responsibilities, the persistent, low-level hum of anxiety has dissolved into the dark, velvety air. You are essentially present, reduced to the steady, rhythmic expansion of your lungs and the slow, calm beating of your heart. There is no longer a boundary between you and the room, between you and the silence. You have become one with the stillness of the monastery, a single, flickering candle flame in a vast ancient cathedral of stone. The walls, which have stood firm against the passage of centuries, now feel as though they are holding you personally, a soft, protective shell that blocks out the chaos of time itself. You feel the cool, grounding influence of the earth beneath you, a solid foundation that allows your spirit to drift upward into the boundless, gentle dark. There is no need for destination, no need for navigation. You are carried by the current of this profound peace, drifting further and further from the shore of your waking life. The monk, the alembics, the small, flickering flame, all have faded into the background, becoming nothing more than the distant, comforting memories of a dream. You are left only with the texture of the silence, a soft velvet weight that presses against your eyelids and pulls you down into the deep, restorative ocean of slumber. The air itself feels heavy, charged with the concentrated essence of 1,000 lavender harvests, a fragrant anchor that tethers you to this moment of absolute undisturbed rest. Your muscles are no longer held, no longer poised for action. They have surrendered their attention to the cold, unyielding stone. You feel the slow, methodical release of every fiber of your being, a gentle unspooling that leaves you hollowed out and ready to be filled by the pure, dreamless dark. This is the ultimate sanctuary, the hidden chamber within the heart of the monastery, where all history, all effort, and all identity are stripped away to reveal the raw, beautiful simplicity of existence. You are at home here, in the deepest part of the quiet, where the night is not a void but a cradle, and the silence is not a lack of sound but a symphony of peace. Let the world continue its turning, let the stars complete their cosmic cycle, and let the morning wait patiently for your return. For now there is only this, the steady, measured pulse of your breath, the cool, protective presence of the walls, and the slow, inevitable drift into the arms of a sleep, so deep, so pure, and so complete that it will leave you renewed, transformed, and utterly at rest. The gate is closed, the candle is dimmed, and you are finally, blissfully, lost to the light, sinking into the velvet lavender scented velvet of a slumber that has been waiting for you since the beginning of time. You are held, you are safe, and you are at last finished with the day. The descent into the absolute stillness of the monastery has reached its final, most tranquil depth. You are now resting in the core of a silence so profound that it feels almost physical, a weightless suspension within the very heart of the 13th century stone. The world of form and shadow has blurred entirely. The sharp, crystalline edges of the alembics, the rough, ancient texture of the limestone, and the lingering, sweet herbal scent of the distilled lavender have all integrated into a single, seamless experience of peace. You are no longer observing this sanctuary, you are part of it, a thread woven into the fabric of this ancient quiet place. The rhythm of your breathing has harmonized perfectly with the slow, eternal pulse of the monastery, that steady, imperturbable vibration that has persisted through wars, through the rise and fall of kingdoms, and through the slow, quiet turns of countless seasons. There is a profound sense of continuity here, a recognition that you are not merely a visitor to this space, but a participant in a long, unbroken lineage of souls who have come to this very spot to shed the heavy armor of their lives. You feel the cool, grounding pressure of the floor beneath you, a steadfast, unmoving anchor that allows your consciousness to expand into the vast, dark, and protective space of the apothecary. Every residual thought, Every remaining trace of the day's concerns has been systematically dissolved by the lavender-laden air. The scent is no longer something you perceive from the outside. It has become the very atmosphere of your mind, a fragrant, soothing medium in which all tensions naturally and effortlessly uncoil. Your consciousness is like a pool of still water at night, dark and deep and utterly undisturbed, reflecting only the vast silent potential of the void. You are experiencing the ultimate exquisite relief of having absolutely nothing to do, nowhere to be, and no one to impress. The armor of identity, the roles you play, the labels you carry, the expectations you fulfill has been set down at the heavy oak door left outside in the damp, quiet night. Here in the sanctum, you are stripped of all that clutter. You are reduced to the most fundamental, essential core of your being, a spark of existence that is finally, fully allowed to rest. The monk's presence, though now distant and silent, remains a comfort, a guardian whose vigil ensures that you are shielded from the slightest intrusion. You sense his quietude radiating through the stone, an extension of his own devotion, creating a buffer between you and the chaotic, shifting currents of the outside world. This is the great alchemy of the monastery, the transformation of the weary human spirit into a vessel of pure, untroubled tranquility. Just as the alembics distill the volatile, scattered essence of the lavender into a concentrated, potent oil, so too has the apothecary distilled your own fragmented energy into a unified, peaceful state. You are now that essence concentrated, pure, and ready to be stored in the safety of the night. There is a deep, instinctual wisdom in the surrender, a knowing that by letting go entirely, you are not losing yourself, but finding the most authentic, quiet, and resilient part of who you are. The darkness of the chamber is not an absence of light, but a presence of rest. It is a thick, velvet shroud that tucks you into the architecture, holding you firmly in its cool limestone grip. Your physical body, heavy and anchored, feels as though it is melting into the foundation of the world, becoming one with the earth itself. Meanwhile, your spirit is light, ethereal, a wisp of calm that is ready to drift across the threshold of dreams. There is no anxiety in this transition, only a total, unshakable trust in the process. You know that you are held by the history of this place, by the silence of the night, and by the inevitable restorative power of sleep. Every breath is a release. Every heartbeat is a step further into the deep, welcoming abyss of the unconscious. You have traveled far to reach this quiet, to find this center. And now that you are here, you have finally reached your destination. There is nothing more for you to achieve. You have fulfilled your journey, you have emptied your mind, and you are now drifting with the grace of a falling petal into the heart of the night. The stillness is absolute, the peace is perfect, and you are at last entirely free. Let the darkness take you completely. Let the silence embrace you in its protective hold. You are safe, you are cherished, and you are above all ready to sink into the deepest, most restorative rest you have ever known, tucked away in the stone wall sanctuary where the lavender waits to guide you home. The final veil has thinned to nothingness, and you are standing on the very edge of the infinite, quiet ocean of sleep. All that remains of your journey, the long path to the monastery, the heavy oak door, the flickering lantern, and the sweet clinging scent of the distilled lavender, is now a soft fading memory, a distant echo of a world that no longer requires your attention. You have arrived at the absolute center of the sanctuary, the place where time itself seems to stop and hold its breath in reverence of your rest. The thick limestone walls have become a protective cocoon, shielding you from the passage of centuries and the noise of the living, creating a pocket of eternal, unshakable calm. You are no longer a person burdened by the demands of a life. You are a spirit at peace, a consciousness that has finally returned to its source. Feel the last subtle traces of tension in your limbs dissolve into the cool, silent stone floor. There is a deep, resonant harmony between your own rhythm and the pulse of this place, a connection that has solidified into a bond of total, unquestioning trust. The air around you, once alive with the fragrance of the lavender harvest, now feels still and sacred, a medium that carries you toward the final gentle descent. You are floating in a state of grace, a profound, wordless realization that you have done enough, that you have traveled far, and that you are allowed to simply cease. There is no more striving, no more seeking, and no more holding on. The monk's silent vigil has served its purpose, and his presence, like your own, has merged into the shadows of the cloisters, leaving you alone in the most beautiful, dark, and silent solitude you have ever experienced. This is the homecoming you have been yearning for, a return to the primordial stillness where you first learned the meaning of safety. The darkness is a velvet expanse, a soft, inviting depth that cradles your spirit with an unwavering, eternal embrace. As you drift down into this abyss, you feel the final golden threads of your awareness slipping away, not with fear or reluctance, but with a profound, joyous relief. The silence is singing a low hum lullaby that resonates through the very marrow of your bones, telling you that all is well, that the world will be waiting when you wake, and that for now, your only task is to surrender. You are letting go of the last faint anchors of your identity, dissolving into the quiet essence of the night, until you are nothing but a flicker of peace in the vast star-dusted history of this ancient place. The transition is effortless now, a smooth and inevitable glide into the heart of the dream. You are sinking down into the bedrock of the monastery, down into the earth itself, down into the deepest, most restorative sleep that exists. The scent of the lavender is the final thing you carry with you, a sweet, lingering promise that you are guarded, that you are loved, and that this sanctuary will hold your rest as firmly as it has held the stone for all these years. There is no light left to follow, for the light is now within you, a soft inner glow that sustains you as you step over the final threshold. You are held by the night, you are anchored by the silence, and you are at long last completely, perfectly, and eternally at rest. The monastery watch is complete. The stars have turned their gaze away. You have finally found the quiet lavender-scented center of your own soul. And here, in the holy silence of 1245, you are safe to drift into the endless, soothing sea of dreams, sleeping now, resting always, forever held in the gentle arms of the dark.
Sleepy History with Arthur is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purposes.
The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history.
But they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience.
This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source. While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation.
Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study.
By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.